The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
Oh shit, everybody. On the fly, we got it rocking and rolling. I think it's working correctly. You guys, I can't believe this. This is crazy. Can you guys hear me okay? Can everybody hear okay? I hope so. We've got all the setups going. They should be rocking. We got the chat working. I think we got the sound working. Man, I'm actually pretty stoked about this right now. So thanks to everybody hanging out. I see 27 live viewers at the beginning. You guys give us thumbs up if you hear everything okay. I got the crew with me. I got Richie. I got Yee. I got Comic Man Andy. I got James from Hive Comics. We've got even more coming tonight, you guys. We've got Comics with Bueller, Two Brothers Comics, maybe Rage Theo, maybe Skeff. We're going to talk about the future of Whatnot and the last year of Whatnot and everything that's kind of going on over there. It's been some interesting couple months. It's just the beginning of the year. It's an interesting beginning of the year. It's been kind of crazy lately, but we're going to rock this year the best we can, you guys. I want to say thank you to everybody that's joined up for the memberships lately. We've had a ton of memberships join. If you guys don't know, we started 3 new membership tiers. We started the 99-cent tier, which in the short future, everybody that is in the 99-cent tier and above will be able to watch all of our live streams. Live streams for members only, live chat for members only in those live streams. It's going to be crazy. We're doing that to keep the show that you love, to keep the way that we love to do the show. There's a big boogeyman out there called YouTube Terms of Service, and YouTube Terms of Service is kicking my butt right now. So if we don't have advertisements, which if you're a member, I don't think you'll have advertisements. So if we don't have advertisements, that means I hope I won't get my butt kicked as much on the TOS boogeyman. So it's very interesting. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as long as you can. I appreciate you guys just rocking with me ever since the change. And I got all kinds of cool alerts and stuff that I think are set up. For example, anytime a new member joins, we should get that. We'll see. We will see if it works, but I think it will. Every time a new super chat happens, we have a couple different types of super chats. And let's see if these work correctly. I think I have them set up correctly. We've got this one for $5 or less. This one for $5 to $50. And this one for 50 plus. I'm rich, bitch. So hopefully those work correctly. And as you guys can see, we have a nice little retailer supporter thing that's dropping down there in the corner. You'll see people like retailers like Hive Comics, Jesse James Comics, Wanted Comics, Bird City Comics, all of our friends and family and retailers that have been with us since the beginning. I want to show them love. So what's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
I'm chilling, brother. I'm chilling. It's been a very interesting week. I've been just cramming my head to get this new setup working correctly. So I want it to look good. I want the channel to sound good. I want everything to be great. There we go. Mrs. Horsecock Express with the $1.99 super chat, man. You got to love it. You got to love it. So, all right, you guys, a very interesting thing tonight. We are going to rock with some news and notes and stuff, but I want to bring in our new guest, and I'm going to add him to the screen, and it's going to look weird, but just give me a second. We're going to bring him in correctly. shout out to the one and only Comics with Bueller jumping in on the big screen. How you doing, brother? You're on. I'm bringing you on right now. Boom. So
Very cool.
we're gonna play around with him and get his. Oh, there we go. Look at that. A $25 super chat from
You
the
might
mesh.
You might have to share some of that super chat money with Sean, huh?
I know, right? Jesus. So,
Straight
shout out to
buttercup.
everybody. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Travis. I appreciate you, man. You have been on a whirlwind tour lately, especially the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. You were in my part of town too, which is pretty awesome. You were in Phoenix recently. I saw you.
Great.
Yeah, saw you at Jesse James Comics. I saw you with Bird City. We're gonna get into that in a second. We're going to bring in our second guest, you guys. We are going to bring in Nick from Two Bros Comics. And let me get him in here, you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out and dealing with all the new setup. This is all new as of tonight. I've been working hard behind the scenes to get this working. And yeah, we're going to bring in Nick. Nick, how's it going, brother?
How are y'all?
Good, doing good, man. It's good to see you. I'm excited for this. This is the first time having Nick and Travis on the channel. They've been part of the community for a long time. We just haven't, our paths haven't necessarily crossed. And I think this is a perfect time to do it. How was your guys' show? You guys just got done doing a show on the Two Brothers channel.
Yeah, no, I think it went really well. What do you think, Travis? Do you think it went okay?
Could have been better.
Yeah, me too. I wish Dustin and I would be a little more polished on occasions.
No, I love being on the show with you guys, man. Hadn't been the first time, won't be the last.
So may have got a little frustrated, a little hot on some things, but it happens.
Well, that's okay. I think that's kind of where we're going to also take it tonight if we can. There's been a lot of talk about the app lately, the Whatnot app. And a lot of YouTube videos and YouTube content creators talking about it. A lot of interesting stuff being said. But one of the things that I really wanted to do tonight was bring in some people that were there in the beginning, were there or being talked to or around in that April of 21 era and forward. You know, that first year where. Man, it was like a new girlfriend, right? It was that lovey-dovey period where everything seemed great, and it was wonderful. And we're gonna all talk about that. We're all gonna get our little stuff settings in. I'm gonna bring in Dustin here too. 1 second here, you guys. Let me add Dustin. We're gonna play around with this tonight as we go. I'll be playing around with the settings and stuff, but I'm gonna bring everybody on right now. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. I definitely want to talk about the beginning. I want to talk about how everything kind of happened and you know what happened with everything. We had a long period of growth, or not a long period, a short period of growth, and really fast growth, and then. I think along with the economy and how fast the app grew, it got kind of crazy there. Mm-hmm. And so, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into all the con stuff also. We are going to get into what's happened recent. We're going to get into behind the scenes type of stuff. We are going to, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff to kind of talk about, contracts, what people have kind of heard. We'll talk a little bit of rumors. If you guys don't want to talk rumors, I don't expect you to. I just want, what I really want out of this is I kind of want to look at everything and say, hey, this is what we love about this. This is what we really thought was going to be amazing. This is what we utilized, and this is kind of where we thought it changed, and this is where we see Whatnot in the future. And personally, for me, I would love for this to be kind of like maybe the last one of the last times that I talk about it for a while, if that makes sense. I know you guys probably feel that way too. So, all right, let's get into it. Let me get Richie back in here. So basically, I really want to key in on Travis first because he's kind of what made me decide to do this. You actually recorded it here in Phoenix, which was interesting,
Yeah.
right outside of Jesse James Comics.
Yeah, pretty much. That was, I think that night is when I made that video. And after talking to Jesse me and Jesse probably talked for 3 hours. Awesome guy. We really put some things in perspective for me, for just things in general that helped me decide kind of how I wanted to make that video and stuff like that. I didn't want to get on there and just be like, well, no, it's this horrible thing and stuff. I just wanted to be factual in my experience, because a lot of people's experience with it is different, than mine. But I think that mine is very unique. Actually, more unique than anyone else's, to be honest, because of what I've been doing. And for that contract to end, and James from Hive, I met him on the road traveling with the Bueller bus and stuff like that. Got to meet him. Gave me a nice little stack of books to sell or whatnot, so it was pretty cool. But I mean, I've met a lot of these people on here because I've been traveling and stuff, and with the Whatnot bus traveling in the United States, like you said, through Phoenix and all these things, and that came to an end in whatever, the contract was over in November 1st. So, but yeah.
Shout out to the Cosmic One. Appreciate the new member. It was very interesting. It was kind of there's something that follows me around, and I call it synchronicity. It happens all the time with me, and I think it happens with everybody. We just don't recognize it very often. And you just happen to be here. You happen to be talking to or stopping to two of my big friends here in the community, and somebody that I consider like my best way to say it is my OG, my sensei, and that's Jesse James at Jesse James Comics, and also Bird City Comics. Anthony and Laura are really good friends, and it just seemed like we had to do this.
Yeah, and shout out to Bird City Comics. They invited. I've been working with them for a couple of years now as sponsors of my show, and they invited me in their door. They made me dinner 2 nights in a row, and met their kids and everything. Just really great people. I mean, to have a sponsor like that, and to compare it to what I just possibly went through with Whatnot and stuff, 2 different sides of the fence.
That's how you should treat somebody you're supposed to be friends with and care about.
You got it. Yeah.
Go see a damn bus.
Yeah.
Can I cuss? I apologize.
They did
No,
walk out
100%.
They did walk out and see the bus. So
yeah. For anybody that's wondering, listen, we're not here to care about people's feelings tonight. We're kind of here just to be honest and to talk about kind of what's going on and this community that we love. I think that's a big part of it. And also maybe at some point in the end of this, like what we see with Whatnot in the future, maybe some of the things that they could take away from us, right? Will they? Who knows? But you never know. I think one of the interesting things is that when this all first started, I think we all, for the most part, were contacted the same way, either by Chancellor or Jack at some point, either at some event or through social media. I know the first time that I started hearing rumblings about this, I was talking to Simple Man's Comics, Brian Wood, who's a good friend of mine, and he was kind of mentioning it, and he was kind of doing chat stuff and that type of stuff, still in the background. He was kind of taking a break on stuff, but he had told me that there was some stuff going on, and I thought that was cool. And he said, it's interesting. It sounds like Jack's going to get a role over there. Next thing you know, Jack is, I think he had kind of took a break and kind of figured out where he wanted to go after Simple Man's. And he was kind of the glue for a lot of us. We kind of knew him from the community and from content creation and CBSI and whatever stuff behind the background. He contacted me when I was still over on Flipside and said probably the same thing that he said to a lot of people. Hey, this is a great thing. We have some ideas. We'd love to work with people out there. Let's sit down and talk. Let's get into a meeting, right? And I think most of us did that either in person, maybe at a con somewhere with drinks, behind the scenes in a StreamYard, through messages, that type of stuff. And I want to say this personally. I thought that when that happened, Jack had kind of been hit by some things that I think he was kind of questioning whether he wanted to still be part of work in the comic industry type thing and the behind the scenes stuff. And he really came out of this like excited. You could tell when he talked to you about it. I was in Baltimore and he was talking to the guys about it at a little event we were hosting, and he was so excited to talk about it, him and Adam. And you could tell like this was the real deal. And it felt like he actually said at some point, I really want to help people out there, our friends and the people in the community. I really want to kind of like show people that things have changed and this is going to be a big deal. And it felt really good. He kind of showed us how the apps, I know Bueller, you talked about it in your little video. You kind of got showed how the app was, this and that. And he did that for a lot of us. And we started figuring out, we started seeing people slowly jump on and try it out. And at this time, people started really making money that I knew, right? Me, the Hive Boys, Comic Man Andy, Mighty Mel V, Yee was on there, even Dollar was on there, Big Leg. A lot of us that are really close over here just really started pulling in some major bucks, man. I mean, we could go on there and just grab a short box. And I didn't even have to really this is sad to say, but I didn't even really have to go through a short box. I could just grab a short box, pull up, start working on it, and make $2,000 in 3 hours. Easy. It felt great. It felt like that honeymoon period. It was amazing. Everything was working great. At that time, I think the only thing that I noticed is that there was a lot of people trying to get onboarded that they couldn't handle the amount of people. And Nick and Dustin, I think that's kind of where you guys were kind of coming in. If anybody didn't see Two Brothers post on their YouTube channel about Whatnot and stuff, they got contacted was it about that same time or about April 21?
It was March, April 21, right, Dustin?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was a little
No,
bit before that
it was
because you had been having
2022.
conversations for a while with Jack.
It was this past year.
Yeah,
2022.
Yeah, it was 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the beginning of 2022.
Yeah.
And I think that's where everything kind of started taking off, where they started bringing in a lot more people. I know, Bueller, you also said that you had talked to them for a while, but you didn't really get anything started after a couple meetings and really thinking about it. I think you said November of...
Yeah, my contract I signed November of 2021.
Okay.
That was a 12-month contract for them. They had contacted me months prior to that, and I had no interest in selling comic books.
Yeah, I know. I think it's interesting. I think that one of the most interesting things, shout out to Theo and Phil and their new show, when you were on that show, that was very obvious is, man, your honesty in this, and you could really tell how you feel about this. And you were not into selling comic books at the time. It was not your gig.
My gig is to get people to buy comics from other people, not me. I could care less about selling books, to be honest. And if I didn't sell another comic book from today going forward, it wouldn't bother me one bit. My goal is to get people to go to Hive and buy Hive's comic books. My goal is to get people to go to Bird City Comics and buy their books, or go to Black Box Comics and buy theirs. I'm not a seller, and Jack knows that. Jack's known me for 5 years, and he knows what I'm about. And we had run-ins a few times when he was working with whatever that place was, or whatever the CBI or whatever it is.
CBSI.
Yeah. I got a lot of messages like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And stuff on
Yeah.
some of the videos I would make, because maybe they didn't see eye to eye on him and stuff like that. But he knew I wasn't a seller. And I turned them down. But when they heard about the bus, they really wanted to be on that, and they approached me as though, "Hey, this is marketing that we would do ourselves if we could. We've actually wrapped a vehicle before for the cards division, so we want to do this, and we think what you're going to be doing is pretty awesome, so we want to be a part of that." And that's what sparked my interest, was that, not, "Hey, go sell a bunch of books." that on the thing that you don't know anything about, because that's not what I was going to do, and they knew it. They understood what they were getting, so there was no nothing hidden from them. So
Yeah, yeah. And you had been creating content for a while on YouTube also. At that time, I think you were 20,000 plus subscribers, right?
yeah, about 20,000. I've been on YouTube almost 5 years. Going next month will be 5 years.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like you had this big community already too. I think that was a part of the thing too,
Sure.
that
Yeah.
he went after people that had that big community, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I get that. I get that part. They want to bring my audience over and share it with what they're presenting, and that makes total sense.
Yeah. They were definitely that was their thing, and I think a lot of us were okay with that. I know he came to Flipside, he went to Comic Tom, Mighty Mel V, Comic Man Andy. A lot of people, they were really trying to grab Simple Man at that time. I know pretty heavy too. And I think a lot of people were kind of the same thing, where they were just like, I don't sell comic books. So,
Well, do you think it could be for the reason that they kind of presented the app to us as well, that you could use this app to create content and then like have this platform to do that at?
Yeah, because I think that for me personally, that was one of the things that I was really into. I really wanted to create content on this thing. I think here's one of the big selling points at the time is they were telling people like, you can play music on there, you don't have to worry about copyright stuff, and that was a big deal. Yeah, not anymore. That was a big deal at the time. That was huge,
Yeah.
and we were all stoked about that. Like, we get to sit here and play music and talk to people, and I can dual stream it, and
Well, if you use my band's music, you have permission. So.
There we go. There we go. Easy.
I know for us, when Jack came to us, it was about the production that we do, especially at Comic Cons. That's Nick's top notch when it comes to shooting at Comic Cons, the equipment that we've got, and the shots that we're able to get, and the stuff that we do at the cons. Those videos are what Jack's, when we had our conversation, was he wanted us to do that for Whatnot, and he was talking about the interviews with creators and stuff like that, and this was all doing that type of thing. It was a couple of months later I started seeing some of my buddies doing these interviews and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And we still hadn't heard anything back. But I mean, I jumped on there because I had short boxes of new Comic Book Day books that I had already read. They're just sitting in boxes, and I'm like, man, I could go dump these back at the comic shop, but let me see. I had some friends that were selling on there, and they've been bugging me for months to try to get on there and do something. And so, that was my thing. I was getting on there to sell those new Comic Book Day books. Once those were gone, I was like, all right, I'm done, guys. Like, this is my last show. All the books are gone. And there was a lot of people that had been coming in there week after week, and I was where they were getting their comics. They didn't have shops close by, and people were messaging me and, is there any way I can, still get you some list of things I'm looking for that you can try to find and get for me or sell or whatever. So I was just going to hang around for a little while longer, and then, then everything happened that happened. So that was pretty much what happened with us on that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was interesting is that in your guys' one of the videos you guys put out, you specifically said that. Like, that was what you were really looking forward to. There was a moment where you guys had been sent your contract. You hadn't heard anything since you signed the contract. And there was a con coming up. As a matter of fact, there was 2 cons that you guys were looking to go to. One of them had Kevin Eastman there. Eastman hadn't been signing yet. He hadn't been on the app or signing for the app or on the app or selling on the app. And you guys even kind of mentioned in your communication with Jack and Chancellor, hey, it would be nice to go talk to Eastman about this.
Yeah, because it was Huntsville. And Huntsville is like our home con. Like, we we know the guy that puts the show on. We know all the dealers, everybody that's involved with that con. So we have some pull there, and we were trying to explain like, hey, if you guys want to do something with Eastman, we can make it happen. We can get it done here, and still never got any information. But they obviously thought getting Kevin Eastman on was a great idea, because like some of the other ideas I gave Jack over a video call, it did end up happening. So I hate that all of our conversation was over a video chat on Instagram, and it wasn't messages, because there was several ideas that I gave there that have been put into action and have done really well. So.
And one
Yeah.
thing about that video we did, because we really were quiet about it and weren't going to say anything until we started hearing and seeing chats about, oh, well, we're glad we didn't move forward with Two Bros because of XYZ. And we're like, look, that's not the truth, you guys. So it was whenever we were being kind of talked about behind the scenes, if you will, at these cons and stuff, we're like, look, we're just going to lay it out there. And here's the screenshots and the contract because we had no intentions of just dragging somebody through the mud for no damn reason until people started questioning us, and we're like, no, we got receipts and stuff, so
Yeah, it was very interesting. That was one of the things that I think, for the most part, and anybody else, Andy, jump in if you got anything to say. James, if you got anything to say. Were you guys contacted about, Andy and James, were you guys contacted about any type of sponsorship or contract?
Not really. We kind of had the thought that it might happen, and there was a lot of verbiage used surrounding something to that effect, but it was never overtly talked about, I guess I should say. Because our situation was different. We were told to come out to New York because Chancellor and Jack wanted to talk to Hive about doing some work with us. So after going back and forth about it for a little while, decided it was worth the trip. So I went out there, ended up meeting with Jack and Chancellor, had great conversations with them, and they were talking about wanting to do some convention exclusives and what their thoughts were on that. And Jack, I'll give Jack credit to this. Jack's a no bullshit guy. If you have an honest conversation with him, if you're looking him in the eyes, and I remember it was probably day 2 of New York Comic Con, and I said, dude, I know why you're talking to us. And he goes, why is that? And I'm like, you could having this conversation with Comics Elite or any of these other bigger retailers than us, but you're talking to us because nobody talks bad about us. So you guys are trying to like piggyback off our reputation in a way. And Jack's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. He goes, we don't want to start this going on forward with these convention exclusives with a retailer that we might have to worry about there being some residual blowback down the road. Like you guys are spotless, you're squeaky. And after that we were kind of on the same level. He knew what we wanted from them, which is, percentage. We wanted if we do a book for you guys, we put together an exclusive, we want a percentage of the print run to do with that as we will. And then from us, what you guys did is you get a retailer that you can rely on to get these projects done and on time and not have to worry about any controversy, And so we had a good agreement going on for a while, but it was never a contracted agreement. Yeah.
Andy, what about you?
Travis put it really well at the beginning. Everybody's experience is going to be different. I think it was end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I discovered Whatnot when they were, the pops, the Pokemon cards, everything else they had going on. And I was actually in talks with Chancellor about onboarding before Jack came on. In fact, my actual official onboarding was kind of like inauguration of Jack, so to speak. And I'll be like right off the get-go. No contract, nothing was offered to me besides a vehicle. And I was really interested because I've always said that my YouTube channel has been my doorway, my gateway into the comic book community. And I might not have a bajillion followers and I might not work as hard as everybody else. It's just that gateway to be a part of things, right? So I saw this as the same kind of vehicle as, hey, this is my gateway into this community that's going to be building here. They were looking to build the comic book community on Whatnot. Here's the get-go. Well, I've been watching people on YouTube forever. Education, knowledge, sharing everything, building community, the camaraderie. I was like, I want to be a part of that from the get-go. One of the biggest red flags I got right off the get-go that I should have stopped and paused and not done anything about it is like, well, if you can't put out enough books, why don't you hire somebody to package ship your books?
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be a part of the community.
That was your biggest thing. I remember that, Andy. You were always talking about being part of the community. We got Hood and Theo, Rage Theo, joining us. What's up, guys? So I think Theo was kind of the same way. Theo, when did you jump on the app real quickly? Was that 2021?
How's it going, guys? Sorry, I think I was muted. How's everybody?
You're good, brother.
I've been on the app for a little bit over a year now.
Okay. All right.
A little bit over a year.
When you first came on, who were you contacted by, or did you contact Whatnot?
So when I first got on, actually, I reached out to them, I want to say, just because I saw a few people that were friends with selling on there. And then I started selling on there, and then, I think it took me about 2 months to even get approved. I went through a pretty lengthy process. I went through like 3 phone interviews and like a final phone interview with like 3 people. And I had to submit like references and go through I feel like a whole bunch of hoops that not a lot of people had to go through. So my setup, I don't know, I've been on there for a while. So I feel like I've been on there longer than right when the comics got started. If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so real quickly, I want to skip to one of the things that I noticed in a lot of these stories that happens first, and this is for the most part, I think, I'll be honest, I think this is kind of like the same story, at least with the comics section and that type of stuff. We all had this kind of like interesting beginning period where everything seemed great and everything was going great, but communication died. I mean, not just faded, just died. Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Cowardly.
Yeah.
This is like a support group.
Yes. Yeah, you got it.
let me just say something really quick. The more and more I hear everyone's story, the more pissed off I'm getting. Because it's not rare what I experienced. This is if anybody from Whatnot is watching, this is your problem right here. This is it. We all have exactly the same experience at the end. In the beginning, it sounds great. At the end, or towards the end, it's like you don't exist anymore. And that's kind of what I'm getting. And even Theo, who I just did a show with earlier in the week, he said the communication is just horrible. If that's what they need to fix that right away, because this is an ongoing thing, and there's multiple people on this panel saying exactly the same damn thing, and all it's doing right now, it just pisses me off. It's like I'm not the only one experiencing it. All my fellow community members, as Andy says, being a part of a community, all my other community members that I respect and really think of a lot are going through the same shit because of one company.
Yep.
And that should frustrate all of us. But that should also be a beacon to Whatnot to say, okay, there's something we can fix. Why don't we fix it and make things better?
What's the common denominator?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing. Real quick, I want to say this, that I think we also all believe that the app itself as a tool is amazing. It's a great tool. It is everything about it.
Yes.
I mean, we wish that some of the things were different to give us the. I mean, a lot of us are still selling on there. A lot of us are not still selling on, or some of us are not selling on there. Some of us are on there every once in a while, not as much. Some of us are hitting it just as hard, if not harder. And we all know that no matter what, the time you put into the app is the number one thing that is going to give you results, the positive results. But in a lot of the things that we talk within the community, there is this common denominator of communication in the comics part of Whatnot. I don't know anything about the cards, anything else. I just know the comics area. And as far as I know, Chancellor and Jack are the two comic guys. Now, I don't want this to look like us calling them out as much as it is, giving them respect for what they did do, and also some constructive criticism on what they did do, but also being honest. You know what I mean? Like if we got to say something that, hey, this might hurt your feelings. I'm not saying you're a piece of shit, but this is how I felt, right? And a lot of people felt not only ghosted but disrespected for being ghosted in that matter. I heard a lot of people. You guys over at Two Bros, like Dustin and Nick, you guys got ghosted the worst. Like you signed your contract and never heard another peep.
Cowardly. And like, man, for months we were quiet. All we wanted was just, look, I messed up. I shouldn't have sent the contract. Or we don't have the budget. We don't care. $500 a month is not going to make or break Dustin or I. It's not a big deal. Just be a man about it, right? And at the core of it, and also we know some other things with, we were involved with the 616 and stuff like that pretty heavily, and there were some issues there too. But
and we'll get into that here in a little bit. When we get to the
which
cons.
again, the 616 is phenomenal. Go buy some. John is. I love that dude. He's been always so kind to us. But with that being said, we didn't give a shit until we started hearing talks behind our backs about stuff, and then it was okay. Let's just put everything out there, screenshots, emails, whatever we have, and you guys take it and do what you will. And there were other people who were all up on Whatnot and friends with Jack, and I don't know if they still are or not. And they're like, oh, no, this is on you guys. What do you mean? We gave you everything. We have nothing left, to show if he has something great. We actually saw conversations between him and other people we're friendly with where he admitted to wrongdoing, where it's on me. Him expressing, hey, this is on me. Dude, all we wanted was just, I messed up. Fine, no big deal, Jack. Go ahead.
Originally, my biggest concern was we just signed a contract, and I'm not getting any information on what do we do going forward.
Yep.
I want to make sure, and I'm asking, are we? Is the contract good? Are we good? Or do we start making content for you right now? Are we making these Instagram commercials that I gave you the idea for? And are we doing the YouTube commercials? Or I just want to make sure we're not in breach of contract. And I never got answers. And it wasn't like I was sending these messages every day. And we showed that in the video where we did that too, where you can see date and time stamps where, it was, I'd message him about once a week. Like, when he had his baby, hey man, hope everything's going good with the baby. Congratulations. And that was it. Next week, I was like, hey, I know you just had the new baby. I hope everything's good. Just trying to make sure, what the deal is with our situation, or are we supposed to be making content? It was just making sure that we weren't in breach of contract, because that would look bad on us, and that's one thing we've always tried to do, is make sure that we are always in good standing with everyone, and then we find out our integrity is being kind of challenged a little bit behind our backs, and that shit wasn't gonna fly.
Yeah, but I don't, Brian, I don't agree necessarily with what you said. I 100% call him out. He could be the greatest person in the world for most people, but you can't.
Well, I reached out to the other guy too. What's Adam? I think I had to.
Oh, Adam.
I had to reach out to.
I had to
reach out to some other friends of mine to find out if there was someone else I could talk to. They gave me his name, so I found him on Facebook through the Whatnot group. Sent him a direct message, and he told me, I don't know, you need to talk to Jack. I don't know anything about
at least he contacted back to you, or he got back to you. I mean, it didn't help you, but at least he didn't ghost you.
Well, that was the only time he got back to me, because I hit him up again, and then I didn't hear anything from him either.
Yeah.
Because I hit him up, I was like, I hit Jack up again. I didn't hear anything. Can you talk to him and, see if, you can get him to message us back? And then I never heard back. So.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we all knew is that there was a chance of this happening. I think that was a lot of our biggest kind of questions going in. Like, it feels great. Everything sounds great. The people who are running the comic section sound like they really want to, the community is their thing, and they want to help the community, and just, it was amazing. It sounded amazing. But in the back of our heads, everybody in the back of their heads that's been in this community a long time kind of knew, how long is the communication going to last? How long is until the shit show starts? And there was a couple things, in my opinion. I think that one of the things I want to get into is the con season, right? Because once the convention started after the pandemic, it kind of got hit into overdrive. Bueller talked about it pretty heavily in his video and on Theo's and Phil's show the other night that, you know, the Chicago thing was ridiculous, but, you know, it kind of got blown out of proportion for the Whatnot side, right? And I agree with that. I think as soon as that happened, most of us on the panel kind of thought like a lot of the Whatnot people were unfairly getting tagged in a lot of this stuff. Maybe a couple made some bad decisions optically. You know, Danielle, I had an interview with Danielle, and I've talked to Danielle a couple of times, and I think she's very honest about owning up that she made some mistakes afterwards. You know, Skeff kind of took some hits, and you know, people don't really know like what goes on behind the scenes at cons, and it's been happening for years. But there was some real mess ups at that con that I don't think really had much to do with Whatnot, as much as the Whatnot personalities that kind of Whatnot was pushing at the time, right? And one of the things that Whatnot does is they were going to these cons heavy. And they were bringing in their influencers, most of them that they had under contract, a lot of the ones that they maybe had thoughts of putting under contract. And one of the things that they would do is they would give you a stack of sellable books, put you on this Whatnot stage, and let you go ahead and sell and take in all that money, and they would promote you, and it was great. It was amazing, right? And I think that was the start of it. I think for whatever reason, that kind of caused people to start seeing people playing favorites, and I don't whether you agree with it or not, that was the way it was. And then people started hearing about the silliness that was going on behind the scenes that had nothing to do with Whatnot, and boom, it starts getting pushed together. And it seems like it became this one thing. I felt like that was pretty unfair. That's one of the unfair things I say that will happen. Were there any con moments other than, I know Bueller, one of the things that just was so ridiculous is that, you know, the whole stage thing was a great idea, and they had talked to you after they had got you to wrap the bus, and they had talked to you about the bus, and they had assured you multiple things or said, we want to do these things, and one of them was bringing the bus on the stage. It would have been great. Not only did they not do that, they didn't even go out. They could have walked out 300 feet, 100 feet just to see the bus and say, hey, oh man, that looks great. Good job. They didn't even do that, and that was one of the things you were really mad about.
Yeah, I mean, the original plan was to have the bus, and that's the whole reason I'm driving these cons, was to have the bus on display in some form for the con, whether on the show floor, in the booth, or outside. Sometimes they have some vehicles outside, you know, some show vehicles and stuff like that. That was the original plan, and that was pitched to me multiple times over. And I was like, that's great, you know, and I even said that obviously if it's on display, obviously I'll need a place to stay, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll take care of that, you know, if that's the case, you know, because I can't stay inside the con, you know, on the floor overnight or something. But none of that came to pass. Now, I mean, that might have been talk, and that might just be like, hey, maybe the con can't get a vehicle on the show floor and stuff like that, or maybe they don't allow it, so maybe they were talking ahead of what they could actually do. So I don't really fault them for too much of that. But yeah, the thing that got me the most was the fact that they never, not one Whatnot employee walked out to look at the bus at all the cons I went to. They all said they were going to, and they never did. And they're the ones who wrapped it. They designed it. They designed the wrap. They wrapped it. They paid the $9,000 to get it done, you know, and for it all, for me to be there and everything. And not one of them walked out to see the bus and stuff. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Why am I wasting my time driving here? You know, and like, why would I drive this? You know how hard it was to park in Chicago, or just to drive through Chicago with that bus and find a place to park and stay overnight within walking distance, you know, because all my belongings are in here for one, everything I own. And then New York, I gave up on. New York is like, you know, there's no way I can find a place to park the bus in New York for 4 days. And I asked them, they didn't have any idea either, because it's obviously not going to be on the show floor because they moved on for that. So, yeah, that was very fun. That was one of the main reasons to get the bus wrapped, so it would be a feature at the cons itself.
Yeah, one of the things that you said is that it was kind of like the moment that where you started feeling like you just weren't important, and you weren't necessarily like, oh, I'm not important, poor me. You were like, okay, I understand. I'm not one of the guys, one of the big mules that they're hitching their wagon to, right? One of the big stallions they're hitching their wagon to. They don't see me as that, which is very interesting. Do you think that at that moment is there any reason why you think that they thought that at that moment? Do you think it had to do with your sales or anything, or do you? I mean, you were going around the country with this huge bus with whatnot all over it, man. I mean, it's hard for not thousands of people to see that a week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know at what point maybe they decided to not go forward. You know, like I said, I mean, I literally thought, and I said this on Two Brothers channel a little bit ago, I literally thought I was still under contract 2 weeks ago. Even though it ran out in November, they never contacted me or nothing. They never said a reason to say I'm not under contract anymore. The only reason I found out I was under contract is that I finally sent a message to Chancellor. I said, hey, I didn't get paid the other month and stuff like that. He's like, oh, can you call me back, or can I call you later today? I was like, sure. And then he's like, oh yeah, we're not doing business with you anymore. And I'm like, when were you planning on telling me this?
Straight bullshit.
Because in at New York Comic Con, you guys said you were all on board, or you were excited. You know what you asked me, what are my plans for the future? You know, Jack told me that we're looking forward. This is long term, and I even got paid for November, even though I'm not under contract in November. They still sent me a payment, and so I thought was good all the way up until 2 weeks ago, right before I made that video. The day I made that Instagram post, the day before is when I had that conversation.
That was the very interesting thing to me, and this was again just keying in on the same problems, and it seems like the same area, the same issues. You had to hound these guys. You had signed the contract. Your contract was basically, you know, they paid. I think they paid for the wrap, right? You had $1,000 a month stipend, and they at that point, did you know about the 2 exclusives that they had planned for you, or was that in the contract?
We had talked about doing the exclusives. They asked me if I had any ideas for exclusives, because the whole thing was the bus to go around and be able to hand stuff out to people. Okay, to go to a Comic Con, oh, here's the Whatnot Fluffy, or here's the Whatnot book exclusive and stuff like that, and to kind of get the word out. I was like, I'm all for it, and so they wanted to do some exclusives, and so that was on board. I didn't realize that it wasn't going to be. I mean, they did 300 of the exclusive for Ninja Kaiden, which came out, I think it was about 5 months ago for that one. And then the next one that came out was for Ninja Funk. That actually didn't come out until after my contract was over.
Yeah, and you didn't get it because there was problems with the shipping and getting it sent to you, which is another huge issue that a lot of people have had.
Yeah, and I have a theory about that, and I shared it on Dustin's and Nick's channel earlier. But I don't know. I mean, we talked about the exclusives. The Ninja Funk one was my idea as far as the design. I didn't know what book they wanted to attach it to. They said, hey, do you have any ideas for exclusives? I said, yes, I have 2. I have one for an homage to Action Comics #1, because we could put the bus on front, because they wanted it to have the bus on the cover. I go, we can put the bus on front, take the place of the car. It's the most iconic cover with a car on the vehicle. I said, another idea I have is like a Walking Dead type thing, to where like we're surrounded by zombies and then we're on top of the bus. Those are the 2 ideas I had. And they really liked the Action Comics one, so they went for that. A couple months later, I got a thing from Jack, just an Instagram thing to say, hey, we're doing these 2 exclusive for you, 300 print run of each. It's kind of funny because one's name's Ninja Kaiden, the other one's name's Ninja Funk. Guess we're sticking with the ninja theme. I'm like, okay, great. And then that was like that was probably May, probably about May. And then I didn't hear another thing until New York Comic Con.
Yeah. So it's very interesting because you had the 1,000 per month stipend also, which blew me away because, you know, you had to hound them for that each month, and not only like hey, can you throw it in there? It was like, hey, can you throw it in there? And then you not seeing it for a month. Sometimes you didn't get paid until the end of the month. As a matter of fact, you showed and told multiple messages about how you literally had multiple assurances. Like, I assure you, Travis, I'm going to take care of this every month, the beginning of the month, multiple times. Never happened.
Yeah.
And that would drive me crazy because that's a big deal when you're going around the country and you're doing, you need all you. And here's the other thing: never another sponsor did you have problems with. It was only Whatnot.
Yeah, and that was one thing I said to them. I said, when I'm making my plans to go to these trips, your money comes into play. The money I received to you comes into play. So when I make my plan to go for next month, I need to count on that money being there for me to make those travels. Like, oh, we understand totally. I don't like I've said this on the video. I don't think any of that was malicious for them. They always did pay me. They never did not pay me. They always did. Eventually, it showed up later that month or whatever it was. Never when it was supposed to or agreed upon, but it did eventually show up. I just think it was just. I don't want to sound like a dick, but maybe they're bad at their job. I don't know.
Well,
No.
yeah, Nick, you said it. You said I'm going to be honest, and you said I think that
Travis.
they need to be called out.
Travis, I mean, let's be honest. I said it on our show. I think you went incredibly light on them. I think you gave them the benefit of the doubt time and time again for at least over 12 months. They didn't give a shit enough about you to reach out when your contract ended. They knew they weren't going to renew. At the end of the day, I think this sits at their feet, and that's what frustrates me and pisses me off. I don't give a damn about the money or anything like that. It's about how people were treated, right? And I Dustin and Nick, who cares, right? We're the little guys. But somebody like Travis, who's done nothing but been a positive influence every time they turn around, has done so many positive things, and then you're going to treat somebody that way, right? And I know that's not your personality, but that's in my mind. That's why I'm frustrated. And then another point, since we've been talking about everything, is not only were you advertising on your home basically for the last 12 months for them, but were they not a sponsor in every single one of your videos?
Yeah, their Lincoln thing was always in the videos. Yeah.
So on top of your free, your advertising for them, which was the deal, you're also putting them out to thousands and thousands of viewers every month. They're full of shit when they say there's no value, and that's the end of it.
Well, let's talk about your guys' contract that they had sent to you, because this is the interesting thing to me. This is the stuff that a lot of people want to know. People just don't know this stuff. They don't know, the intricacies of how Whatnot works with people. They work with people different ways depending on the person. Shout out to the House of Stein for the $4.99 super chat.
Hey, can you hear me, Brian?
I can, Hood.
So, I thought there was no contracts for anything. You remember when Bolo came out? There's no contracts.
Yep.
Yeah. So, because he came on this show, and I remember you asked him, and I can go back and find the video where he said that we don't do contracts. There are no contracts.
He's full of shit.
So
I thought he changed that. I thought he changed his answer throughout that show and said there's 3 contracts or whatever.
Oh, he said there. Man, you got a fucking badass memory, Aaron. God damn, dude.
But I mean,
Holy shit, dude.
But that might have been off air too. I don't.
Oh,
I don't
it's
remember.
probably off. Let's just assume that it was off air.
Well,
but I mean, he lies a lot, dude.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing, Hood, is that if a lot of the guys on here right now were part of Flipside when we were all at Flipside together, and at that time is when Whatnot was first coming up, and I've been very open about this. We had our meetings over at Flipside with the comic management team, and it just went badly right off the rip. It went just terrible, and for the most part, it was our fault, and that just kind of ended us as kind of becoming like what we hoped right off the rip. It was 100% the fault of Flipside, the people who were there, and our fault, and I admit that. But for the most part, people that kind of have been screwed have been, these people that are pretty stand-up people in the community. Travis, is a big one, like you said. But you guys over at Two Brothers, your contract was very interesting, and you guys, what made me think it was interesting, and you said it's not about the money, but I want everybody to know this if you guys don't know this. So I'm just going to run through this real quick. They were going to give you a $500 a month stipend.
Okay, yes.
And for that stipend, It was a 6-month contract. You had to have multiple sales per week, social media call outs, referral links, one IG reel per week for Jack to put on his thing, a manga or anime reel per month, sponsored by Whatnot. Only sell exclusively on Whatnot, which is crazy. And then Whatnot would quote unquote provide marketing support, convention streaming like they do for everybody, including people that aren't under contract, and one in-app feature per month, and the chance to get on the variant exclusive game. And they were going to pay you $500 a month for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and for us, the big thing was more so the conventions and getting to go and do these video type deals, because that's really me personally, what I'm super passionate about, right, is I love that video side of things. Dustin really likes being on the camera and stuff. I hate this part of it. It freaks me out to be on cameras. I don't like it. When Dustin and I first started, I refused. But I love this side of it, the technical side of it, the video editing. That's why I do all of the con videos and the commercials and stuff for a couple of conventions. Like, I love that. And that's what we were excited about, getting to be involved in some of that stuff. And that's why we were kind of pursuing it. But again, at the end of the day, like $500, that's not going to make or break us. That was no big deal by the time we were done spending the time, effort, and energy, the money on editing software and this, that, and another. It would have been, and we split it between the two of us. That was nothing to us. Like, it's not going to matter. But it was, you're going to be a coward and just completely, ignore for months and then say stuff about us behind our, to other people we're friendly with. But
Well,
somebody commented earlier and was like, "Hey, what if it was their manager that like nixed it?" Great, be a grown ass man and tell somebody.
Yeah. The very interesting that you guys said is another thing that I saw happen multiple times with multiple people, very similar, is not only would you not hear from management, aka Jack or Chancellor, you would reach out to them, not hear from them. That same day that you reach out to them, you would go do a video or a live stream and you'd be critical of Whatnot, and boom, Jack pops up in the chat.
Like a
Yeah.
just straight, and then wouldn't what do you call it? Wouldn't acknowledge us, but would respond to something, to somebody else in a comment. He did that on because Dustin tried to reach out to him on the Whatnot Comics group as well. Like, hey man, are you okay? We're trying to talk to you. Same shit. Wouldn't even acknowledge it, but then would comment. But then would also message other people in our community when they would reach out to Jack and be like, Jack, what the fuck, dude? Like, is this seriously happening? Is it not? And Jack would, say some shit, and then, we would see the response, and it was just, it was really, that was the frustrating part, is just the cowardness, right?
Yeah.
Cowardly,
Yeah, it's weird.
cowardliness.
He still owes me 2 comic books, dude.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, he not too long ago did the same shit to somebody else. It was some wrestling comic books in exchange for something else, or like a signature or a check mark.
But these were the foil Omni-Mans, and
shit,
that were going for like 1,500, a grand. So in my mind, he owes me at least a couple of grand. So what do you guys think about that? What should I do? Like in Bueller's case, let me tell you, I got some guys that do my lawn, and it's fucking hot outside. If I told them, yeah, I got you, I'll pay you, and then they hadn't heard from me for a couple of weeks, they burned my house down.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't fuck around. They don't fuck around. So like, you don't fuck with people's money, dude.
No.
Like, and like, if I'm Jack, like I'm my head's on a fucking swivel, dude, because like if he screwed over me, you two guys, Bueller, he's probably screwed over a lot more people. So my head would be on a fucking swivel, dude.
Put out something public about it, and watch your inbox fill up full of the same people who were setting up these massive groups, the Monday sell groups or the Wednesday sell groups, where it's like 4 or 5 sellers, and they were promised the same shit we are, but they won't come out and talk about it publicly. You'll have video game people from the same, having going through the same thing, like Mr. Rightway. As soon as we posted ours, he reached out to us, and he's like bigger than any of us combined, and he's like, the same shit happened to us. You know what I mean? So it's wild, man. It really is.
I just think this whole, I know Travis said it in his video and Brian said it earlier, but like you get what you put into it, right? With Whatnot, like you get what you put into it. And I think everybody who sells on there will agree with it. If Rage was still in here, he'd say the same thing. I know Andy agrees, right? We all agree with that. But like, Why is that not a two-way street?
Yep.
Why is that not a two-way street? Why are they not realizing that they're the reason the comic community on Whatnot overall is not happy right now is because they're not putting in what we deserve to have put in from their end.
Yeah,
they gave us a platform, but beyond that, there's no support, there's no help, there's nothing.
We're not mad at the app. The app is just an app. It's just a piece of technology that people.
It's a tool.
To sell books. There's no problem with that. I think it does a good job of what it does. It's just that if you're told one thing and showed the door, it pisses you off. I mean, James, you had the Hive books in the booth at one of the cons, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. So we've been telling them for a while. It's something you guys have all been to enough cons. You realize even when eBay shows up at a convention, right? The biggest online auction platform in the world, they still have shit that they sell at the booth, right? They bring in guest artists like this last New York Comic Con, they had Saladin there selling some stuff. Or no, that was at the Collecticon. But like whenever they set up at a show, they bring people in, they sell stuff at the booth because they know that if you buy something there, then it intrigues you to maybe join the app. They don't force it. They don't force feed you. They're not like, hey, you can only get this if you do this. And we've been trying to tell them that. And so MegaCon was kind of the example of that. Like, hey, let's show you. And by us having books there, I mean, Aaron Sadi helped us out the whole weekend. Like hundreds of more people stopped at that booth that would have never stopped.
Yeah.
Now, had they done what was supposed to happen, and had we been on near the information booth or something like that, then everybody that came up to buy a book, they could have been right there to answer those questions. Instead, you had guys like me and Aaron. I'd only been on the damn app for 3 months or 4 months at that point. And I'm the guy having to explain like, oh, what is Whatnot? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best, but like there was so many short-sighted decisions done on that. It's like if as a comic retailer, it's like if I went to a comic convention and set up and threw all these books on the table, and then every single person that walked up and said, hey, I'll take that, and that, and I'd be like, cool, log on to our website and buy it. We'll ship it to you in 2 weeks.
I can remember.
Do you think anybody's going to buy anything or have any interest in going to my website? No, fuck no, they're not.
I can remember seeing you behind the little table doing a Whatnot auction on the floor with your books. Like you said, you get what you put into it, and the effort that you were sitting there putting into it. It's not. They don't give that back to you, like you said. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it took us weeks to get ready for that convention, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and we were promised a lot that due to circumstances that I fully understand, because we weren't bullshitted with what happened. We got to witness it. The convention wasn't happy with certain parts of the setup. Whatnot had to make changes, and when it ran down the pole, it eventually hit us to where the table that we were promised that was logoed out and everything like that wasn't available anymore. Yeah. So then we had to do best with what we could or just not be there. And so we chose to do, Jack and Adam and everybody kind of helped us kind of like make the best out of the situation. And it was a good weekend. We had a great time. Overall it was a success, but it was something that was supposed to continue on. It was something that we were even told by higher up guys, even above Chancellor, that were like, that was great. You guys did a really good job. And then, so the next show we're like, okay, cool. So, we'll just leave these books. You guys bring them to the next con. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. And then we get there and it's like, yeah, no setup, no nothing. You guys aren't on the floor, no nothing. We upended a lot of plans to do what we did with them. And it was very quickly and unceremoniously tossed to the side because it wasn't a priority, which is, if it's not, it's not, we don't have the bigger picture ideal that they have. We don't have stockholders, shareholders, whatever, but at the same time, it's the common denominator with all of us. I feel like that have gone through situations like that with them, is that there's no communication beforehand, and afterhand there's no thought to what that does to our relationships with them going on in the future.
One thing that I want to, okay, so now we know kind of how the base of the operations up until this point. In the year after the pandemic that the cons started happening, whatnot, one of the things that I was always told, and a lot of people told me they were told, okay, is that, you know, the management over there were basically saying, hey, we have a ton of money to spend on marketing. Like, we have so much money to spend on marketing, we don't know how to even keep spending it. So we're just going to throw it at whatever we can. And great. That's
Pretty
amazing.
much what he said, almost word for word.
Yes. And they went crazy, man. The amount of stuff that they spent money on, it was awesome and great and everything. And then I think what ended up happening is either they didn't spend money on the right things, or just bottom line, because of the economy, because of everything that's going on, budget tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, because of that, and because of communication being shit, a lot of people didn't get any information. Hey, this is what we're hearing. You know, just be ready. This and that. You know, Bueller thinks that he's going to have this contract through the whole run of his tour bus, right, where he's going across the country. He's doing what every content creator and person that's trying to help the comic community should be doing. And that's keying in on local comic shops and retailers and going across the country and showing people the hunt. If anything should be, you know, kept, if anything should be continued, it would feel like that. And you're thinking it's going to be for the long haul. What are you even halfway through your trip? I mean, how far are you through your trip, you think?
Maybe a third.
Okay, so you're a third of the way through the trip, and now you're driving around with a bus that has a huge thing on it that you don't want, like, you feel a way about, which rightfully so, and you're not getting paid for it anymore. Like, that's pretty messy. When you were basically assured, you know, hey, we're through. You were told multiple times, we are with you with the long haul.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard any of the conversation that me and the two brothers had, but I had a follow-up conversation with Chancellor yesterday, and pretty much so, like, I mean, like I said, I like Chancellor. I think he's a nice guy. We talk, you know, like just friends would talk on other things, but business is business. And I said, I assume you guys watched the video. And he goes, yeah. He goes, it's going to be really hard to do business with you because of the trust that I think has been broken because of the video. And I said to him, I kind of was silent when he said that. And I said, you know, I look at it as a way for you guys to possibly make things right and do the right thing. I go, that's what that video was for you guys to get the opportunity to do the right thing. And I'm like, I don't quite see it that way, and as you do. And I told him, I said, you know, like I said to you guys earlier, I didn't know I thought I was still under contract until about 2 weeks ago, when I finally had to reach out to them. I asked him, I said, if I'm in your future, when were you guys going to let me know? When were you guys going to tell me that I'm still on board? Because I haven't heard nothing from you since New York at all. And my contract's been up for 3 months, and you haven't said nothing. What am I supposed to expect if you're not telling me? I'm supposed to just magically assume that, oh yeah, we're going to work with you in the future. And he said, well, maybe we can do something next month, but it's going to be pretty hard with, you know, that video out there. What if some of the higher ups see it? And I go, you know, I didn't make it to hide anything. I go, you knew I was going to make it. I told you. You called me when I put that post out. I go, if there's anything in there that's not truthful, feel free to tell me, you know, because I was on the up and up about everything. I mean, I'm laid out everything on the line there. I wasn't trying to hide nothing or anything, and I was trying to be respectful the same way. But I don't see it as a breach of trust. I when I made that video, I asked a couple of business people or whatnot, you know, that have experience with sponsors and stuff. I go, was that out of line? They go, no. That was perfectly fine what you did. You know, that wasn't crossing the line. That wasn't, you know, it was just honest, and you voiced your frustrations, but you weren't like a dick about it and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that that's what they said to me, but they look at it as possible a a breach of trust. And I was a little like, the phone conversation with me and Chancellor, there's a lot of silence because I bit my tongue quite a bit. But when I hung up, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not. Yeah. I said, if you want to call me in February, you can. That's it. But I'm not doing anything more with them. I'm moving on. I don't have time for that shit.
So, one of the things that now I want to get into is another thing with Whatnot, and that's optics. I don't know what it is, man, but they need one of the things they need more than anything is like a PR person to say, to
they
teach them. Oh God.
They have one. It was called Comic Mayhem. I'm not gonna. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I have one of the best reputations in this community.
Yeah,
and I've earned it from day one, and I've been honest with my audience. I've never taken the easy way out for anything, and I've earned it from. There's never been too many knives thrown my way, and even if they were, there's nothing behind them.
Well, you didn't tell them about that one night we had when you were here in Atlanta, but that's probably neither here nor there.
Yeah, we're good with that. What stays in the sheets is in the sheets.
But there was always. I remember when stuff would come up, I'm like, man, they should have contacted me, and they should have let me, kind of. I'm under contract, I'm there for them, to do stuff. You don't put someone out there that has a bad reputation to represent you or stuff. You put someone out there who people will listen to. I'm like, they listen to you because you earned it, not because it was just given to you. So I don't know.
You know what? You also have to be able to listen to constructive criticism. I think once you become an adult, there's two roads to make, right? There's either that road where you can't listen to criticism, and that's a lot of people go down that road. And it's tough. That's a tough life. But the people who get it right, in my opinion, realize how important that criticism, constructive criticism, even non-constructive criticism, you need to listen to it. And that's being an adult, and that's trying to make yourself better and trying to be better. And to be honest, that was the whole push in the beginning. Like, hey, I'm going to do this to be better. I'm going to make this better. I'm going to make a lot of things right that maybe have been felt in the past. A lot of people, I sat down and talked to a lot of big retailers, big publishers, and throughout the con season, like most of us do. And a lot of the talk was like, I can't believe what's going on over there. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe what's happening with this and this. And the optics were so bad. One of the things that I heard a lot about, and I want to get all your guys' opinions on it, and that's the Whatnot publishing arm. Because I think the Whatnot publishing arm becomes something that we really have to kind of key in on and say, is this good for not only our community, but for the hobby itself? I'm not just saying with Whatnot, but for anyways, because it feels there feels like there's some fuckery going on or something. It doesn't feel right.
Well, I think the big mistake is whenever they decided to put their, go to bed with heavy metal. That was just dumb. Why would you, on top of all the other stuff, you're going to align yourself with that company that's been essentially stealing from customers for years now? Terrible look.
What would you guys think if Bad Idea made an app and started touting it as what Whatnot touts the app as, and sells their exclusives on the app and sends them out to all their biggest people on the app and for free to sell them? And I think the community would be even crazier. The pitchforks would be out in abundance because it was Bad Idea. And I don't think people realize that there's this conflict of interest there, right? You have these people not only printing their books, you have them overprinting books, and then you have them setting prices and giving them out to people to sell on the app. And then here's the other crazy thing that just seems so crazy. The exclusive game is nuts to begin with, but the value of these books significantly drop. And I would love to hear what some of the current sellers on there think about this, because you guys, Theo, not really. Theo doesn't sell many exclusive variants. James does, right? James sells a lot of exclusives. That's his game. But here's the problem: a lot of these retailers on the app that are quote unquote in bed with Whatnot Publishing, who are getting these huge amounts of free books and selling these exclusives, right? 2 months later, they're selling those exclusives for less than half price, right? And a lot of people are in on those exclusives that aren't selling them on the app. And you're instantly devaluing these books. And it just creates this toxic community. What do you think about that, James?
I know I know what you're speaking to, and we definitely all have seen it. I know that just recently we made a decision to not. We'll never discount our books ever again. That's a decision we made recently. Our books are our books. You buy them off our website, you buy them off eBay, you buy them anywhere else that we happen to sell them. You're paying the same price. We're not playing those games anymore. We just don't. We're not going to devalue our product or make any of our customers feel stupid because they bought it on one platform or another. It's just not worth it to us. Our integrity means more than that. So, but there is a lot of sellers that doesn't hold true. And I think they're doing themselves a disservice more than I don't know that it's necessarily a causation of Whatnot. I think it's stuff that we've seen in the industry happen between website and eBay sales anyways. I know there's a lot of retailers that mark up their books or mark them down on eBay versus website pricing, stuff like that. So it's something that's been going on. It's not anything new. But eBay's not an in-your-face platform like Whatnot is. So I think a lot of the stuff that happens on Whatnot that does also happen elsewhere is almost amplified in that effect. But when you talk about it from a retailer perspective, what that also means is that devaluing that does happen is so out there that as a retailer, you really, really kill your website sales. They're done at that point. So it's almost a signal that it's a last-ditch effort. And as retailers have figured that out, what's happened now is that Whatnot has just become the dumping ground for dead exclusives.
Yes. And here's the problem with that.
People can't sell on their website anymore.
Here's the big problem with that. Let's be honest with this. A lot of the exclusive game has been it's thriving on the collectability, right? Not about people reading the books. It's about people being able to buy the books and thinking that it has value, right? Thinking that it's rare. Let's be honest, that's 100%, the push, the selling things, people say, "Oh, there's only so many print run. This is a rare book. This is a good investment." And to the fact where a lot of these books, the guts are the same 90% of the time, right? And I don't have a problem with that for the most part. What I have a problem with is propping them up as being rare or collectible or worth something when they're really not, because 2 months after they come out and it's gone through everybody else's carousel of sales, right? You could go on the Whatnot app when Ninja Funk came out and watch 10 sellers. I could name 10 sellers on the Whatnot app. I would go to them when Ninja Funk came out. They were selling the same 5 books. And then 2 months later, those same 5 books were discounted to a tenth of the price and just being pushed out. Now, you're telling all the people that bought those books that those books aren't worth anything as much as they were 2 weeks before. And if you had any partners on those books who were selling those books just in their stores or anything, you've completely devalued the book for them too, right? Which really sucks. That's a big deal. And that's the exclusive game, unfortunately, in my opinion.
And that same whole buyer's remorse situation that I was talking about with as a retailer with customers, right? That's caused when stuff like that happens. It's happening on a massive scale with Whatnot being seen as the retailer. It's not individual sellers that are being seen as the retailer. It's Whatnot in general. And so now you've got customers that go on there and they buy a book for $50, and 2 weeks later they hop on another show and it's 15, and they're like, "Well, I feel like a fucking idiot spending any money here."
Yeah.
And that trickle down effect is what I think we're currently seeing as sellers on Whatnot, where people refuse. I mean, it's easier to sell books if you can get a ton of people in the room and can start books at $1. Rage has got a good setup. Rage pulls out books from the 90s that people are hunting for and thriving for, and ratios that people are really hunting for. What Rage is able to do with the platform is great. It's retailer exclusives versus standard books is definitely a different game. So I can't really speak too much to that end of things. But I know on our end, it's like standard books will always fluctuate in sell price. They'll always go wherever they go, right? But on retail exclusives, when they're straight out the gate, I'm not selling a book that's 20 years old. I'm selling a book that's 2 weeks old. If I was a comic shop, I'm selling it for cover price, right? For us, that cover price is $20 or $15 because the extra money we put into the book to have it done. And so that's an acceptable price. So when there's no control over that price because people are either bidding overpaying for a book, and so then it comes down to its actualized value, people feel dumb about buying it at the overpriced price, or when you've got retailers that are dumping them because they just can't sell them anymore, But yeah, anyways, what I was saying is that it's come back to now where it's a Whatnot problem. Whatnot's seen as the retailer in general,
Yeah. Well, Theo and a lot of other people have really been, they came from IG sales, and I'm going to let Theo talk. I'm not going to talk for him here in a second. They came from IG sales. They are on other platforms. And I think that a lot of them are going back to those platforms or selling more on those platforms. And it's been going pretty well, right, Theo?
So the thing, a lot of questions here. First of all, you guys are all beautiful people. Guys, everyone comment, sub up this man, okay? I mean, how many people we got? 134, 37 likes. Come on. Yo.
Thank you,
brother. First of all, Manny said something. I will agree. They did drop the ball on the Bueller bus, man. Just should have said what's up.
Yeah. Appreciate
there's a couple other questions in there. I don't know if you guys are missing those, but there is one I want to address. But that's up to you.
Yeah, you can address anything, dude. We're open here.
I think the thing is that a lot of people forget that unless you're sponsored and you've agreed to that, nobody's making anyone use Whatnot. That's number one, right? Can we agree on to buy or
100%,
sell?
100%.
We can all agree on this. Okay, so nobody's making us use this.
Yep.
Now, because no one's making us use that, and we all can agree that there is a fee on this app, right? Just like eBay, just like any other app that we use to sell. You got to take that into account when you're bringing your stuff there to sell. I mean, I have never stopped doing IG live sales. I've been doing IG live sales since I started selling comic books almost 3 years ago now. And selfish plug, I got one next week. Nothing's changing. There's certain books for IG, there's certain books for Whatnot, and everything else in between finds an app or finds a place, I just think everybody needs to remember that. Dude, selling comics is like a Swiss Army knife. You shouldn't just use the knife or the spoon. You got to use everything, man. You got to use it all. Yeah, yep. You got to use it all.
Yeah.
But there was one question up there. It said, Matrix Comics. Can I read it? Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
It said, remember when Skev started Acetate Gate? # never forget. I take a little bit of offense to that because that man definitely didn't start anything.
Yeah, we're gonna get
I
into
was
that
there.
For sure.
Okay? Nobody knew any better. You had graded copies. You had a 9.9 and a 10 staring at you in the face. Nobody knew anything. By the time everybody found out, most of that shit was gone or given away. All right?
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Acetate Gate is ridiculous.
Like,
Bueller
get
said
over
it,
it, bro. Okay?
Yeah,
Take
Bueller
it up with
said it
CBC, dude. Like, go.
Bueller said it, I think, in your show the other night or in his thing that, he never saw any, personally, he never saw any preferential treatment, and he never got any and never saw anyone else receive it. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there. There's a lot of people that said that they've seen it and they've done this and this and that. And I'm sure it happens at some places. I think that the Acetate Gate was a bad thing. Andy, you were there. You were there up in front. Well,
yeah. My wife and I were like 9th and 10th in line before.
Yeah, I saw you, Andy. I saw you.
Yeah, I saw you guys there. My wife and I were like 9th and 10th in line before people started cutting in line. And let me emphasize very heavily, the people who were cutting in line weren't YouTubers, weren't whatnot people. They were random Joe Schmoes that found a way up the escalator from the bottom level around the gates and just happened to show up and didn't even have con badges.
Yeah.
There were people behind Vintage Comics and Toys and other people back there that were just like having conversations that would bump up the line every so people and say, hey, how you doing? How you doing? The next thing you know, they're up there buying books before, like, wait a second. It's not people from whatnot. It's not just, it wasn't like retailers at the convention. Random people that nobody knows were cutting in line. Let me emphasize that heavily. I was there. And this has been the really frustrating part is I don't have a massive following. I don't have 40, 50,000 people on Instagram or YouTube. And I was there and people just continue to not listen to what I have to say. And that's been really frustrating over the last 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, whatever.
Well, that stuff literally happens and has happened at every convention for the last 20 years.
Yeah, the con before the con.
Before the con, exactly. If you manage to be able to be the first one through the door, or you happen to get in earlier because you've got a buddy who's there as a retailer and you've already scoped out the books, you've already talked to retailers. I mean, you can make some magic happen, and it happens at every show. It will continue to happen at every show.
Yeah.
The funny thing to me about that whole situation was it became this huge thing that like all these whatnot sellers are grabbing this book to sell it on whatnot. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever gone to a convention just to flip books, but that's how I started going to conventions, just to buy exclusives and flip books. I'd spend the first 2 hours in the show grabbing books and the next 2 hours sitting in the hallway listing them on eBay, right? But it was never just me. You'd see dozens of us sitting out there going through books, taking pictures, going through statues, taking pictures. You go out to a parking garage. The parking garage across from San Diego Comic-Con is a hotbed for that stuff. You get great service out there. People sit out there. There's great lighting. You take photos of your books. You list them on eBay. You throw them in the trunk of your car. You walk back into the con. You grab more shit. Yeah. It's the resellers have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Whatnot Whatnot was just people could see it happening in real time with Whatnot. And I think that's what people started taking offense to.
I want to talk about something that's been really big lately, and I want to get your guys' feelings on it. And that is the toxicity that's kind of been going on behind the scenes. We saw this huge thing happen between Nick JQ and Epic Nation, which is the most recent one, which is absolutely crazy. It's bonkers. We've all heard friends and people tell us stuff. One of the biggest retailers that I know, and that's one of the most respected retailers in the game, like had to deal with the most ridiculous petty stuff from Whatnot management and Whatnot publishing management. And, it was so beyond bad that, it soured a lot of people on ever working with some of these guys. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that happens a lot. And people, your name precedes yourself in situations. And once multiple people say, if your name comes up behind the scenes and they go, I don't know about that guy, that's a problem. And I feel like it's been happening pretty heavy lately with Whatnot and just kind of how they do things, how they run things. But it's also been doing with the people that are selling on Whatnot. Now, Bueller, you did say that 99% of the people that sell on Whatnot are great. So do the two brothers. They said this. You guys, Nick and Dustin, you said the same thing. And I think we all agree with that for the most part. But the problem is the people that Whatnot has hitched their wagon to, unfortunately, I think there's some problems there. I think that there's some major issues when you got guys going on the app and threatening other guys. I know the whole thing between Epic and Nick GQ happened, and I just seen the other day, Epic is coming out with this non-bullying book, and it's so ridiculous. And I feel like you just why didn't Whatnot just ban them both? Why didn't that happen? You know what I mean? What are your guys' thoughts? I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on those situations are, especially Nick and Dustin. Because I like your guys' takes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either one of them.
I don't have a clue until I started seeing that one dude.
Yeah.
I thought he was drunk. what was it, Nick GQ or some shit, talking about like keep your head on a swivel. Like I thought it was like he was drunk or high or like it was a form of comedy. I didn't realize it was serious until I think I saw Bronze Age, put a post up, and I was like, oh, they're being serious.
Yeah.
I just it's dumb as shit.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It's like, it's not doing any good for either one of you. You know what you're doing. It's making
makes
both of you
both
look
look
like
bad.
idiots. You both look like internet tough guys. And whether you're, trained real tough guy or not, like, I mean, handle your stuff. You don't have to get on screen to do it. But I thought it was a bad look for both of them individually. I thought it was a bad look for both of them business-wise. The fact that it was just something else that, was a way to drag Whatnot through the mud again. It's bad for the platform. So yeah, I agree. You ban them both, and when you see issues, you get rid of them both. I mean, if I'm working a construction job and me and another guy get in a knockdown drag out brawl, they're not going to ask questions about who started it and who said we're both gone. We're both gone. We're banned from the job. That's the way the world works, So
Theo, what did you say, Theo? You said something really good the other day. Something about whining. It makes us all look like children.
Oh, it just made everybody look bad. Everybody in Whatnot, everybody that's in comic books. I mean, I don't need to say their names. You guys know what they said, but I mean, one was making death threats and one was accusing the other guy of not having cancer. I mean, it was just, it was kind of mindless argument. I mean, they just both look horrible, man. It's not a good look. They're both trying to argue stuff that you can't prove, and we all know it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So it didn't go anywhere.
Yep. It's funny to be a bunch of comic nerds fighting on the internet. I love it.
40-year-old babies, what I call it.
What was the results from it? Like, was it that Nick was banned from the app and then Epic was only banned for like a week or something like that? Was that the end results of, like, at the end of it?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Nick is done. From what I know, Nick is selling on other apps, and I kind of feel bad for Nick about that because, like, I don't think Nick was the worst one. Now, this is just me personally. I mean, they both made mistakes, and I think they'll both tell you that. But Nick initially got hit up about, Whatnot. I think hit him up about maybe talking about some type of suspension for off-app issues, and he kind of talked to him about it and said, "No, this is crap. Like, what I do on your app is one thing, but what I do outside of the app is another thing. Like, I'm a man. I'm going to take things a certain way, and I know that. And then that same night, or that same time period, Epic literally goes on the app and starts asking people, "Hey, go report this guy, and everybody that reports it and screenshots it, I'll give you a free Whatnot exclusive."
Right.
So, that's the type of shit that. You see the type of shit that goes on that makes you go like, what they did with Bueller is crazy, and then you see them stand behind somebody like Epic, who just looked horrible throughout this whole situation. I mean, Nick looked bad sometimes too, in my opinion, but man, Epic just calling out a guy saying he doesn't have cancer, threatening him on the app while using the app, There's just a lot of things where constant things like this are happening, and they've been happening for at least a year and a half now on a regular basis. Like you guys said, every week there's something new to extend the drama, and it doesn't feel like anything changes. What can Whatnot do to change it? What do you guys think? Is there anything if you guys were to give some advice to Whatnot to say, hey, like, seriously, this is something that needs to happen in our opinions for the thought that Whatnot isn't a shit show to change?
One thing I would say is, regardless of who they're going to have reaching out to people and handling contracts or any of that,
just don't let it be Jack. No, I'm sorry.
All that needs to be handled on a more professional level than whoever it is using their personal Instagram to reach out to someone else on a personal Instagram and doing video calls that are unrecorded. It's something that needs to be handled under a Whatnot email, something done in writing. It needs to be something official from the company. I mean, I just just got an offer letter for a new job, and everything has been done through company emails on company phones, and everything's been in writing, and it's all been, you know, an official ordeal, and that cuts out he said, she said, hearsay. It cuts out a lot of the questions and you know, open-ended conversations that never get finalized. So I think that's one big thing that could help with a lot of the lack of communication is if you're going to be a billion-dollar company or whatever you are, act like it. Get some professionalism in how you deal with the people you want to work with, and rein your people in and make sure that you know what they're doing and what they're promising and what's going on, and they're not just, you know, doing stuff rogue, because, you know, that's going to cause issues, as we see.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else got any thoughts?
Sanctioned boxing matches.
No, we'll do OnlyFans boxing matches on the Bueller bus, like somebody said in the chat.
Well,
Bueller.
I mean, they know.
Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they already know how to build rings. Like they've
There
done it
you
at
go.
New York. Yeah, they've done it before at New York City Comic Con, right? And they have the belts for it too.
I think if you're gonna, there's been too many instances lately, and without going into huge detail, but I'm sure every one of you guys can think of a few of these, but there's been too many instances lately where it seems like they're very selective about how they enforce their terms of services, and they definitely are constantly changing them and making it very hard to keep up with them. I wish that they would. Not everyone's going to sit down and read 34 pages of new terms and services every week.
I am.
If you guys are going to keep changing it, give us a nice little brief.
And
have
he said,
somebody,
"Fuck that motherfucker."
have somebody record a video. Record a damn video. Have Jack record or Adam or somebody in Whatnot record a 1-minute video saying, "Hey, just so you guys are aware, this is what we changed." Email it off to all the sellers. You know, but if you're keeping people in the loop and people know what the terms of services are, like, I just don't know how the Epic and Nick GQ thing wasn't handled straight across the board, just getting them off the app, getting them off the platform, because it soured. It was embarrassing being a seller on Whatnot and knowing that was happening on Whatnot, and the way that was dragged through. I was embarrassed, you know, and I know a lot of other people were too. The way that was handled was ridiculous. Whereas that happens, and I know a retailer without naming names that all he did was reached out to a customer and told them to keep the book, put in for a refund and keep the book. And he's going to send him a couple extra books because he felt bad because the book he sent him, I guess it got damaged or something. And then he got banned for over a week because they said that he had violated terms and services by reaching to him off platform to handle an issue. When the terms and services says that if you have an issue with the seller, it is your responsibility to take care of the issue. So he gets banned for a week, but then you got guys like Epic that go on there and do the stuff that he did, and he didn't, from my understanding, he didn't even get a ban at all.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems,
they're too selective. It's like they've got 5 people handling terms and services stuff, and one's really strict and one doesn't give a shit, and then there's a couple in the middle.
Well, look at how they
consistency.
Look how they've been handling the copyrighted music thing. If you're on any of the groups, there's 1,000 different answers from 1,000 different people about, oh, you can still stream copyrighted music, or no, you can, or yeah, you'll get banned. No, you won't. No, you won't. Like if there's a Whatnot resale, yeah, I wouldn't. No way. I can't believe they've been able to get away with it for as long as they did. But like if you go on these Whatnot reseller groups, people are just like, we don't know what the F to do because nobody's straight with us.
Yeah,
it's nuts, man.
Well,
again, though, it's hidden in 38 pages of terms and services.
Well, I think someone asked in the Facebook Whatnot group, like, if you could play music or not, and then someone actually answered was basically like, if you have the rights to play the music, which most people will never get the rights to play, you know, copyrighted music on a live stream, like, unless you know the person personally, right? Or the band, or whoever represents the band.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
You guys, I'm going to pin a message to the top of the chat on YouTube. It has the call-in link for Discord. Just make sure to mute yourself when you call into Discord. Dennis, try that, man. See if it'll work. You should be able to use it on your phone. If you don't, if that doesn't work for you, man, I'll send you a link if you wanna jump in here. But I would love to hear some of the people if they have any questions for anybody on the panel. One of the things, real quick, that I think that is a big change that needs to happen is we not only is the communication terrible, that's a big change that needs to happen, obviously, but we don't know a lot of stuff, and we don't have the analytics. We don't have the data. They're very cryptic about a lot of stuff. And that just causes more anger and more problems. I know that's a big problem here on YouTube. We're constantly getting hit by TOS things, and YouTube will say, "Oh, you got hit for bullying," but they're not going to tell you what point in the video you bullied somebody. You know what I mean? And like that cryptic type of talk, it doesn't help. And just give us the data, give us the information, tell us what, you guys talked about it on your show the other night, Theo, like being on the top of the app when you open up the app. Like, it's not about how many followers you have or the sellers. Well, what is it about? Let us know. If it's truly just random, just tell us that and be honest about that stuff. It sucks to be guessing. Like, if I'm going to spend a lot of my time growing myself on this app and growing the app at the same time, I would like to know a little bit more of how things actually work. And that's such a problem.
Have you seen the new sellers analytics stuff that they just released like a couple of days ago?
Just released. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
and I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm sure it doesn't tell you like what to do for the algorithm to get, on the list. And
like, basically, like, you can set like parameters of what you're looking for, like, over the last year, like how much you've grossed, who your top 10 buyers are, stuff like that. Like, some of that information is useful to an extent, right? But it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't help you break the algorithm of like how many hours you need to be on to, to help to grow your grow viewership or anything like that. But it's a start.
Yeah. What about you, Travis? What do you think? What is something that you think they have to change soon?
Well, my initial thing is like they just don't have the infrastructure in place that they should. Or if they do, and if this is the infrastructure they have, it's not the right people in the right places. So if anything were to be fixed, either hire more people on board, more experienced people to take care of the lack of communication, which was the number one theme that we can all agree on. Current sellers, former sellers. I mean, that across the board is the communication is non-existent after a certain point. For some reason, it just doesn't exist anymore, and it should. So they need to get that infrastructure in place, whether that's more people, better people, whatever that is. In the video, I said that's not a bad problem to have. That means they're growing and they're expanding or whatnot. You don't want a business where you have to lay off a bunch of people because you're not succeeding. You want the opposite. You want a business that's growing, and you need to hire more and more people. You want to have that problem. If that is the problem that they're having, they just need to do better at it. They need to hire more people. They need to hire better people with what they're doing, better people to manage their accounts. Accounts payable division. Hire someone that takes care of that on a monthly basis, so that the YouTuber doesn't have to send 1,000 emails over a 12-month period. Put those people in place. If you can put those people in place and take care of your customer or your clients, your buyers, your sellers, then the issues go away. You have to have people in place to run your business the right way. And right now, it just seems like either they're overwhelmed or they're just not willing to hire more people or whatever that is, because this is a common theme for over a year. So you got to do something. You got to pay to play, right? So I mean, you got to put people in there. I mean, that's the only thing I can tell them what to do. The technology's already written. The app is already done. It's out there. It does. It sells. It buys. It works on your phone, whatever it is. There's the technology. It's done. Okay. Now put the people in place to support it and support your audience, whether they're buyers or sellers.
Yeah. All right. Again, you guys, the link for the Discord is pinned at the top of the YouTube thing. If you guys should be able to jump in that room. Dennis, I did send you a link. If you want to jump on, you can try it. If there's anybody else that wants to call in or ask anything for our guests, I don't want to get too long in the tooth with this. I really wanted to, more than anything, kind of figure out a way to put a bow on all this and say like how the community feels for the most part. There's a lot of people that I wanted on that weren't able to come on for whatever reason, and I hope at some point we'll get honest opinions from them. So yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, let me bring in our friend Dennis at Wonder World Comics, so he can blow everybody's eardrums out here. All right. Shout out to Dennis. Love you, brother. Here we go.
I need to go grab another drink if Dennis is hopping on. I'll be right back.
What's up, brother?
What's up? I unfortunately can't see you guys because I'm on my phone. So, all right, good. No, I'm using my headphones too right now, so maybe that'll be better for everybody.
Yeah, you sound
there we
good.
go. Well, I just wanted to jump in to let you know I was actually on 2 different platforms. I was convenient enough that I was such a big toy guy that they tried to, after they saw what I was doing with comic books, they were like, oh, we got to get you over in the toy section, the vintage toy section. And I can't remember. We're going to dish a lot of tea tonight. I can't remember who it was, but it was a young lady who didn't know anything about collectible toys. And she was the person in charge of the entire format. I mean, she knew, oh, yeah, you got Thundercats? Oh, the Thundercats are cool, and Turtles are cool. You should do more Turtles. Those sold really well. And I actually got a contract. They gave me, I want to say I got $100 per broadcast just to do an hour-long show for the first month. But then I wasn't feeling it because we were losing a lot of money on toys. And I was like, all right, cool. Hey, call me back, hit me back. But I gave her an entire online strategy, and I told her to invite a whole bunch of people that I knew, and she didn't reach out to them. And I said, hey, if you got an ad budget, these YouTubers are doing, I tried to put her in with Justice Curry. I tried to put her in with the Junkman. A lot of big YouTube names that I was friends with. She didn't reach out to any of them or make any deals. But at a certain point, and this is the one that I'm dishing the dirt on for the first time here tonight. They wanted to expand big time, and they really wanted to get into. They were looking for some big people to help them, and I put them in touch with one of my guys, and I'm not going to blast him, but they know who I put them on to, and they know who they contacted, and I gave them 3 names. And one of the people couldn't do it. One of the person didn't want to do it. And the third person said, yeah, sure, I'll help him out. And he's the one that got them their booth at San Diego Comic-Con the first year. And he's the one that told them to design a booth. And they designed the booth that he pretty much did. And that's the booth that they pretty much use right now. He put them in touch with the people who build those booths. And they didn't honor anything verbally with him. They didn't pay him a penny, and he put them in touch with everything. And then when it was like, all right, hey guys, you can pay me for all my work here, it was like, oh yeah, I didn't know that was what we were doing. No, we already have. And I wanna get the opinion of actually everybody else, and I kind of want to hear what everybody thinks about my concept of what this is. Whatnot is this huge entity, which I think is actually funded by the Winklevoss brothers. And I've actually got a whole conspiracy theory on that. But I think the Winklevoss brothers are deep into it for the initial money. And there's all these mysterious millionaires that they talk about when they're kind of winking and nodding at each other when they're talking to each other. But in between, we'll call it the Winklevoss brothers. In between the possible big money man millionaires and us, the dumb schmucks that get roped into losing money selling comics for them at 12% a piece, I think there's a tier of a whole bunch of middlemen. And I don't want to just boil Bolo down to a middleman, because I think he's actually the hardest working middleman in the bunch. But there's a bunch of middlemen above Bolo. And it occurred to me before my big meltdown at New York Comic Con that I think this is, I don't want to say Ponzi and I don't want to say pyramid, but it's definitely a multi-level marketing plan where, you know, the Winklevoss brothers are like, hey, find influencers. And then the guy that they pay the money to, the first check that gets cut, he finds a Chancellor and a Bolo and a Mello. And they all scurry to get as many of the people below them. And as the money starts kicking up to, you know, the Winklevoss brothers, we're just, hey, oh, Comic Man Andy isn't doing all of his sales that he used to do? All right, cool, let's get Comic Tom in here. You know, I mean, I mean, you guys know who I know, but I walked him over to Rob Liefeld at C2E2 and introduced them. Like, Rob stopped his line to come over and meet, I believe it was Bolo, and I can't remember who else it was with him, Chancellor and Bolo, or Bolo and somebody else, I don't know. Plus, on top of that, I deal with people by their names, and there's just too many nicknames that go on in a company worth that much money. You know, I'd like to know some people's real names. I'm calling people Bolo and Chancellor and you know, whatever, Big Daddy, and, you know, all these people, Skeet, and, you know, and it's just like, how about if I know your name, John or Bill, or, you know, I'm kicking, you know, I did close to, what did I do? 200,000 in sales that first year.
Yeah,
and
man,
I don't know,
eating steaks and selling books in steakhouses, man.
Yeah, you know, and I'm so, you sit there and you're like, at a certain point, when I woke was New York Comic Con, and I haven't sold a single book since that weekend.
A lot of us on this panel had that same situation at New York Comic Con. So
yeah,
real quick, I want to remind everybody on the panel. I know that Nick and Bueller are new here. If you guys got to bounce, just throw up the deuces. I'll be in touch afterwards. I'm really happy that you guys hung out with us. You don't even have to say anything. Just throw up the deuces and end out, and I'll talk to you after the show. So, Dennis, I think that was kind of one of the problems with a lot of people out there is that the bigger names in the business kind of saw the bullshit that was going on. And I heard that from a lot of those bigger people. A lot of people that worked with them heavy in the beginning, you know, really regret doing that work. You know, really regret it. I've heard people say that. You know, they feel like they put a lot of effort into this, and they helped them out in a certain way, and it was just everything about what was supposed to happen was fumbled. Right, the same thing.
Well, that was. It's like Bueller. Bueller's a huge name. Yeah, I love you, Bueller. No, you know, just be normal. Be a real dude. But no, you're a huge name, and I guarantee you, it was email after email. Oh, dude, we have a chance to wrap Bueller's bus on his tour. Oh, cool. How much is that going to cost us? Oh, $1,000 a month. That idiot will just take $1,000 a month to drive our logo all around the country? Sure, yeah, sign him. Hey, is Bueller doing that bus yet? No, he's still buying the bus and wrapping it. Okay, well, oh, Comic Tom came along? All right, fuck you, Bueller. I'm over here to sign a deal with Midtown and sign a deal with, you know, Kevin Smith and sign a deal with Rob Liefeld. You know, you should have gotten that bus out earlier since but even if you had gotten that bus out the day after you made the deal, they would have lost sight of you within a week. And you still would have been begging for your $1,000 every month.
Yeah, sad. It's really sad, man. What are you guys' thoughts on? Hey, Dennis, I'm gonna mute you until you're ready to talk, brother. Let's see if this works. You got it. Perfect. Wait, actually, you're gonna have to mute yourself.
Oh, I don't know how to do it. You know I don't know how to mute myself, right, Brian. Come on.
Let me try this. Hold on here. I apologize, you guys. We're all trying this on the fly.
Dennis, the unmutable.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna get a little bit of an echo here. I forget what I was saying. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? I think we're about done with this conversation. I see a lot of people talking in the chat, and it's for the most part, I think it's the same as we've been talking about for months. I just think it's really interesting that, like most people on this panel have said, and they agree with you that, you know, Bueller, you are one of the stand-up guys in the community. You are definitely one of the guys that we didn't expect this to happen. I think there's a lot of people that had that where they, you know, again, I've seen some really respected retailers have to put up with some really petty stuff that you wouldn't expect from professionals, right? And it just causes the toxicity to get worse and worse, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes in the future. Here's where I was going. What are you guys' thoughts on eBay Live?
I think let me start by saying I think Whatnot's fixable. I think it's easily fixable, right? I think the situation it's currently, and we're just to put it out there, I'm sure everyone's already figured this out. We're strictly talking the comic side. I don't think any of us have much knowledge of what's going on the card side. They could all be happy as hell over there. Everything's running great for them.
No, they're not. The card side is 10 times worse than the comic side. So I guess we're happy.
And the video game stuff is just as bad based on what conversations we've had after the video went live.
I feel like, though, for the most part, it's fixable, right? There's some missteps. It's not like they can't start making the right steps. There also definitely were hurt, just like all of us were, that sell collectibles. This last year's, it was rough. It was rough across the board. And maybe that pushed some of the decisions that they have made. You know, and hopefully this year is different for all of us and for collectors. You know, and hopefully that changes some things in that regard. But shit, what was your original question, Brian?
eBay Live.
Yeah. Just like we were saying earlier that or I was saying earlier that this whole you get what you put in mentality is a two-way street. I think so is the fact that it's been seen time and time again that Whatnot is very attracted to the next shiny toy or the next big person they can, and the thing is that's also a two-way street. And you know, just like Whatnot's a tool, when eBay Live becomes accessible to some of us, it's another tool. And they don't openly have to even try and compete with eBay. It's they're going to be, they don't have to try, they're going to be forced to. And if changes aren't made, then it's going to be, it's like Rage said, right? He still does his live sales on Whatnot and Instagram, right? Which I need to talk to you about that, because we want to get into that as well. But
hey, any help you need, you got my number.
Yeah, I know I do. It's just another tool, right? It's just another tool. But you kind of, we all have the same mentality that Rage had kind of pointed out to, that there's books that are for Instagram live sales and there's books that are for Whatnot sales. Well, when we're able to do eBay Live, there's going to be books that are for eBay Live sales and books that are for Whatnot sales. So ultimately, their pool of items being sold on their platform is going to get smaller, whether they want it to or not. If they can't make their platform ultimately better than eBay in every aspect that sellers are looking for, which is going to be an impossible task, at least at first. And it will be impossible if they're not going to start working towards it. Then they're going to be losing a good chunk of some of their bigger books, potentially some of their higher priced items, to eBay Live sales. And then what does that do to them as a company? You know, what does that do to their ability to support us at that point when financially, you know, they're hurting from that aspect of it? You know, so I mean, that's how I feel about it. I don't think it'll be the end of Whatnot, but I think they're going to feel hurt. You know,
well, James,
but us sellers, I mean, hell, we're going to have another tool in the toolbox.
And
so
James,
as a seller, I'm happy. I'm excited for it.
You were there for the MegaCon. You guys were like large and in charge there. You had kind of like a little booth within their booth.
Yeah.
And you were making exclusives for them that they were then also handing us. You were selling them out there and they're handing us to sell on stage. I don't know how that dynamic worked, and I'm not really getting into that.
The
But
thought behind that was just we were all trying to see, like us and Bolo were trying to see if not just having an activation, but having an activation along with the ability for people to purchase what they see the Whatnot sellers selling would work out. And it worked out well. We talked about that earlier in the show tonight. It worked out really well from everyone that was involved. They said it was great. It went great. They saw that we constantly had people there, brought people to the booth, but it wasn't followed up with somebody there to create the activation of getting people to sign up for Whatnot.
pet peeves, I'm sitting there and people are like, oh, you're selling that. Oh, cool. I'm like, yeah, just get your app out. You got the app, and I'm sitting there trying to talk people. You at MegaCon, you saw me. I'm trying to get people to bring their app out and bid live in front of me. And that was what I thought from C2E2 was the dynamic they were looking for, not just trained monkeys doing their broadcast from the booth. And I'm sitting there telling them, I'm like, guys, you got to have people to help these people download the app out here so they could bid on it. I'm putting on a show for you. And that's the way I always looked at it when they made me. Well, dude, I will say this. I never felt more proud as an old man boomer to my children when we were pulling up to that first C2E2 in 2021. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this whole Whatnot thing, and I've got a couple time slots, at the show, and they're going to give me some free stuff to sell. And they're like, Dad, you're partnered. You're partnered with an app. That's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay. My kids think I'm finally cool. I mean, they met Stan Lee 3 times in their lives, and my son had been to San Diego, but I wasn't cool until I was partnered with an app.
Well, what's interesting about that, Dennis, is Bueller said the same thing, basically along the lines of when he first was, dealing with them, that, he had never felt like anybody was behind him more at that time, right? That's kind of how you put it at the time, Bueller, right?
Yeah, at the beginning, that's what it was. I mean, and they did a really good job selling themselves, and that's what they should do, to be totally honest. So, they're like, I felt as though there was a big rocket behind me, and the support is going to be there. And the rocket fizzled about really quickly thereafter, and you had to check up on it to make sure it was still running every now and then. So,
do you think it's because they got too big too quick?
I think so. Like I said, I don't think anything is intentional or malicious. I think they want everyone to succeed, because the more everyone succeeds, the more money the app makes. The more everyone is better, the more money the app makes. I mean, I don't think they want people to go in there and fail. I don't think that's the goal of any business.
Yeah, let me get you in here, Dan.
No.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just think that you're right to an extent, but the fact is that in the 2.5 or the 1.5 years, 2 years that I've been with these guys or using this app, it's the same people. And I know that they've had opportunities to bring more qualified, capable people in. But I think when those middlemen lock themselves into those prestigious middlemen, worm tongue positions, they don't want anybody else of capability to come in. I honestly think that middleman philosophy, like if you were Bolo and you're at the level at Bolo, I still don't know what the structure is. Chancellor's above Bolo, but somehow Bolo's in charge of everything and Chancellor doesn't have any answers. I don't know what the structure is, but there's no lateral bringing somebody in for another thing. They want to do it all themselves. So by taking on all the responsibilities, I will deal with Bueller and I'll make sure he gets $1,000 every month, and then dropping that ball. You're right. They should bring in it, but they've had plenty of opportunities to bring in somebody else, Bueller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's been a long time. Like I said, over 12 months, you would think they would be able to put people in place to fix that situation. And on month 12, I'm dealing with the same situation as I'm dealing with on month 1. So either they don't want to put other people in there, or they're not willing to put other people in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing is I think that there's a little bit of, I don't know what to call it, but like, they've created a little team that they've got, and the team members that they've got are kind of like gatekeeping in a way because they're the team that some of the team members they got are some of the worst people in this, in my opinion, in this community, and that's a big problem for me. And I don't know. I'd consider myself somebody that really doesn't hold many grudges. I'm not a petty person, and I think that's one of the worst things that can happen. Is you got these people that, you know, they're very, very petty people. At the same time, they've burned some bridges, and you know, you can't really do that in business. You can't say, okay, I'm going to work with this person or not work with this person because I don't like them. That's not something that works in business for the most part, right? You got to do what you got to do, and it just seems to be getting worse. And you know, you bring on the Whatnot publishing arm, which is very interesting. You know, Dennis, what are your thoughts on the whole Whatnot publishing arm and everything with that? Dennis?
Bueller.
Dennis.
Bueller. You're muted, brother. Oh, there he just went. Let me try this again.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
you're
he's figuring it
muted,
out, guys.
so-
I'm going to drop off. Thanks for the invite. Travis, it was good talking to you earlier.
Thanks, Nick.
Nick, thank you so much, man. And let's do this more often. This is one of the things that is the most important to me, honestly, is to try and collaborate with the community. And, you know, but hopefully it'll be in more situations where we're just bullshitting talking comics now.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good night. Thanks, everybody.
Everyone who's watching, go check out Two Brothers Comics as well. So
Yeah, we have awesome mustaches over here, guys.
yeah, and other
Where
things.
is it? Wait, where is it? Can you zoom in more?
That's all I got.
Oh.
Travis appreciates that.
Yeah,
I know he does. All right, guys, y'all have a good one.
All right, Dennis, try coming out and
See you,
coming
man.
back, man. Yeah. All right, let me change this up.
Just to piggyback on what you were saying, though, you know what I think one of the major issues is right now is that we expect a company who's so focused on money to also be focused on, you know, feelings and how people feel. You know, and like I said earlier, you know, nobody's making us use this app, and because you know this community is such tight and small, we feel like everybody that's a part of it, you know, we should all have a say in something. And I feel like if this was like a eBay or somebody or even a Drip or something like that, I feel like it'd be the exact same way to a certain point. Like you said, the bigger a company gets, I mean, good luck trying to get in touch with Facebook or
If you're a
Instagram or Apple. Like right now, if you tried to, like, you got to go submit like a form. You're gonna be, you know what I mean? You're never gonna talk to the person in charge of there.
I'll say though the difference though, Rage, is eBay doesn't tell you they're gonna call you.
yeah.
They don't tell you.
This
I'll
is
get a
true.
hold of you tomorrow.
This is true, and they're
You know what I mean?
misleading.
Like, I would
and
almost
I
rather
feel like
never
they're
hear
still
anything
driven
from
for
Whatnot.
money, and we're
Yeah.
thinking that they're not, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? You got to use them. Don't let them use you. Like,
Yeah. Dennis, what is your thoughts on the whole publishing arm?
Well, I'll tell you what. One of the greatest marriages early on with Whatnot was seeing what all of our friend Big Clutch did with the Invincible variant.
Yes.
And Tyler Kirkham. And I remember those live streams of 1,000 people spending $400, $500 a pick on Clutch's, mystery box sale.
Yeah, the packs. Yeah.
The packs. And I remember also that first show, I want to say MegaCon, where I feel, and I don't think Clutch is too big of a man to do that, to do what I'm about to say, but I think they pushed him out. They signed Kirkham to a separate deal. Clutch isn't going to throw him under the bus, but I'll throw him under the bus for Clutch because I love Clutch.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hey, Tyler Kirkham's doing a DC variant for them. That's interesting. And oh, he's doing a Marvel variant for him. Where's Big Clutch? Oh, you're doing a Battle Beast variant, but Big Clutch isn't selling. Where's Clutch at?
Oh,
And
man.
it should have been the writing on the wall for me, seeing what they did with him, which is exactly what I think they do with everybody. They get somebody under them in their multi-level marketing plan, and then they Invincible, Tyler Kirkham. Okay, we don't need Clutch anymore. Let's just go ahead and do a Tyler Kirkham variant for everything. And I love Tyler Kirkham too, but at a certain point, when they were doing random property number 52 with the Tyler Kirkham bloody variant and an unbloody I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? And to me, that's the impetus for the Ninja Funk. Let's sell to all these retailers. Let's sell 105,000 copies to retailers because we're using our platform to tell people, hey, we're getting into this publishing arm. And then to chop out the legs under every retailer who ordered those by doing, that is the first print, but we have the first print, and it's available only at this whatnot sale. That's where, I think a lot of people opened up their eyes to what they do.
One of the things that really happened quite often, and I'm going to mute you, Dennis, until I see you talking, brother. One of the things that really happened quite often that I heard a lot about behind the scenes, quite many people, more than 10, okay? And that is logistics issues with shipping and dropping the ball on getting people what they were supposed to get them, whether it was the what was the dog book that they did where they had 1,000 different other people do this dog book, and some of the people didn't even get their books till good boy. Some of these people didn't even get their books until a month or a month and a half after. Bueller, you had books lost in the ether, right? And you could have been selling those books when everybody else was selling them like crazy, and I can't imagine how many more you're sitting on because of that.
I'm probably sitting on 1,000 copies in my storage unit right now.
Jesus, man.
They'll be sitting there forever.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it sucks.
So I'll just give them away as I travel.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a really good idea. Use them for good, right? Use them for something better.
Well, that's what the first one we did when they did the Ninja Caden one, and did that one for me. I just gave them away. I said I made sure everybody got paid, the publisher and the artist and everything. And when the publisher who's friends of mine go, "Did you get paid?" And like, yeah, we finally got paid. And I go, well, he goes, "How much are you gonna sell them for?" I'm going, "Nah, I'm just gonna give them away. I don't care. Like I'm not here to make a bunch of money. I just want to be able to give away something to the people that I'm visiting and stuff. So I just gave them all away."
We did that. We did that same thing. In fact, that box of books we gave you was a lot of our early Whatnot exclusives.
Yeah.
But we did that same thing with a majority of our percentage that we kept of the exclusives that we did for the cons for them were books that we slid into people's packages that bought from us on the app.
Yep.
We gave them away. And that's what we wanted out of them. And we built a damn good following because of that. It certainly helped us. We had people that were like, "Oh, this is awesome. I ordered a couple of books from Hive and I got all these extra, I got these ratios of Radiant Red, and I got this, this Whatnot exclusive, MegaCon Radiant Red exclusive,
Yeah.
And that was cool. It was cool to be part of that. It was cool that ended up happening. But I'm sure you're stoked to have books to hand out to people when you travel.
Yeah, that's what I want, and that's what one of the things that we talked about when I first started traveling. That I have something to physically give to someone in their hand when I go to the comic shops or go to these places and stuff. And I didn't have anything. And it was really like I'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be in San Antonio for these 2 weeks at my cousin's house. If you're gonna send me stuff, send me them now. That's where I'll be, because I'm on the road. I'm not." At a stationary place, and I would let them know everywhere I'd be, so that way when they were supposedly going to send me stuff to hand out, they would know. They're like, "Oh yeah, great, we'll get you something right away." Never, not one thing.
Yeah. All right, I was going
That's
somewhere.
actually one thing. One thing I'd like to chime in. I'll give a little bit of praise here. You know what? I can't lie and say that Whatnot hasn't given me books to strictly give away. So that's amazing that's an opportunity that I can provide to my audience. I won't lie on that. That's amazing. All the cons that I've gone to, I didn't ask for those books. Those books were given to anybody that went out of their way to go to the con and stream there. So that I can say they definitely did do. Yeah.
Well,
And
but Rage,
they paid for my books as well. They paid for my exclusives. I did not pay 1 penny for any of my exclusives. They paid to the artist. They paid to print them, and they gave them to me and said you could do whatever you want with them. And whatever books you make, you get the keep. So
Yeah.
well, that was actually a contention.
It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, we still Hive still sells on there 6 times a week. Rage is on there all the time, and we'll still be there. It's another tool in the belt, but because it's a tool in the belt, you know, if it was a hatchet that we have to use to cut down logs, we want it to be as sharp a hatchet. You know, and so a lot of my criticism, at least I know, comes from the side of concern more than anything. Like, I'm concerned for Bolo. I'm concerned for Whatnot. I'm concerned for the platform. I want it to be great. I want it to be the next eBay. You know, because I would love nothing better to have 2 huge platforms to be able to sell on, like eBay and Whatnot.
absolutely.
You know, and I only want what's best for the app. It would be great. They've definitely taken certain criticisms and worked towards bettering them. It'd be nice to see them do that more. And I think if they continue to do that, then maybe this time next year we're going, holy cow, can you imagine what, you know, we might be having this conversation a year from now in a different light, being like, look at all the shit they did over the last 12 months. You know, look at what they did this last convention season. Look at all the great things they did. Look at all the amazing changes they made to the platform. Look how happy everyone is on the app. You know, look how many users they have. Every live sale's got hundreds of people in it. You know, I mean, it would be amazing to be having this conversation next year, and hopefully they can do something like that. But it's almost like they told Bueller, you know, that maybe they were a year too early for doing the bus thing, right? It almost kind of gets that. I almost kind of get that feeling with comics in general, that maybe they just didn't have the time or the infrastructure in place, and maybe they were trying to do certain things with comics a little too early. They should have maybe just let it grow naturally without forcing it a little bit longer, and then enacted some of the things that they've been trying to do. And maybe this would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Monologue, you know.
No, dude, I make
maybe
money on Whatnot. It's not
no,
a bad.
I understand that.
I have a great
No,
relationship with my buyers on Whatnot. I love the platform. I just want it to be better.
You know what? I agree with that. And one thing I want to interject with is I feel like even if it's Whatnot, if it's eBay, if it's Instagram, just like you were saying, like how you have a great relationship with your audience, you should make that wherever it is you go.
Yeah.
There's been times where I was supposed to get a Whatnot main stage and I couldn't be on the Whatnot main stage. So my hotel room became the Whatnot main stage. Okay. And I had better Wi-Fi, you know, and I didn't have to hear everybody yelling around me. I got to play my own music, and yeah, it was cool, you know. But I just feel like wherever it is you are, that needs to be your stage.
Yep.
Put up with the year, you know, on their circuit, and you know, New York was the end of that 1 year, and I saw things get better, and I saw things get worse. You know, from that first show I did at C2E2 to that last show at New York Comic Con. You know, I mean, James, you were front and center for, hey, Dennis, we're going to put you on the last day of MegaCon, and here's your comp books are just sitting on a shelf under there. And it's like, you mean the ones that have already been picked through by every seller that came on before me, and I've got 20 crappy books that nobody can give away? Oh, thanks, guys. Why did I fly down here on my own dime and put my own hotel? And everybody else got, you know, whatever the hot book of the week was, and I didn't. And then at the end at New York Comic Con, everybody got a pre-made box. They had it delivered the second you showed up. I actually had the same problem Bueller had with the badges, by the way, at one of the shows. But luckily I'm me, and I know every show promoter, so I could just get my own badge and go onto the floor and get my badge from them. So
I think we all had to do that a few times. They get busy with that setup. We all had to do some little trickies to get in there a few times, but no, I mean, you're right, Dennis. There was a huge, you know, with MegaCon, there was the theft issue, and we've talked about that on Brian's show before. There was a seller who went through and pulled all the Invincibles from all the stacks of books,
and Adam about had a breakdown over it. He felt horrible about it, and so they fixed it. They saw it was a problem, they made adjustments, and they fixed it. And they've done that with a few things. But like you said, Dennis, there's some things that have certainly gotten worse too. You know, and there's some really simple things that they could have fixed that they haven't.
The fact that at New York Comic Con, eBay Live had the 10,000 viewers from their floor, and I'm sitting there, having breakdown on my Wi-Fi, and I'm like, wait, eBay just walked in and figured the Wi-Fi issue out in one show, and you guys have been doing this for a year? Are you kidding me?
One of the things that I kind of want to end the conversation about with Whatnot and kind of get to quit talking about this for this show is I think the most important thing for a lot of us, and it's funny because I don't want to get too political, but if you guys are watching what's going on in the world with YouTube and political commentary and Crowder and all this stuff that's going on right now, there's this very big line that's being put in the sand by people. And that line is, a very fine line to walk. And that's your character and your morals and how you think about yourself when you go to sleep at night. And do you really, how you're acting really how you feel or how you want to portray yourself, and then making money. Okay. And the one of the biggest problems that I see with Whatnot is one of the biggest things that was talked about right off the bat was how it was so important for them to build the community, to give back to the community, to give back to all the people that they might have screwed in the past or might have had problems with in the past, or change things that the toxic part of the community. And that was a big part of it. And it was such a great feeling at the time, because at that time, this comic community was thriving. It felt so good. It felt like everybody was getting along, and it's been nothing but toxic ever since. I don't think there is a community building aspect of Whatnot other than the fact that you can reach your customers like Hive and Theo are saying. Other than that, everything is negative community wise coming from it, and that's a big problem. That has to change.
Well, can I chime in real quick? Because I noticed this. This was also one of the last straws that broke the camel's back. I watched New York Comic Con 2021, and that was the first big Whatnot event. And they had the boxing ring, and Mel's up there, and we all love Mel. And in 1 year, the first thing, Mel went down to MegaCon, and we had a blast down there. And Mel shows up to a year later, and he's still Mel. He's still Mighty Mel V. And they had him for one event on noon on Saturday or something. I forget what he got a really bad time slot. And he's like, man, I don't even think I'm going to come for my shift. And I'm like, dude, you were on like 5-10 shifts. You were like the New York Comic Con ringleader. And you went from that to he sat over at International's booth the entire weekend.
Yeah. Bigger friends, bigger stallions,
Yeah. But I'm sorry, you know what? I don't give a shit who you are. You're not a bigger stallion than Mighty Mel fucking V. Okay? Check yourselves, Whatnot. You did him dirty.
Yeah. In his home city, too, right?
In his hometown. That's Mel's town.
Yeah. But the great thing about Mel and a lot of these people in our, one thing that we've done really well, I think, is that over time, and maybe it's not that we that have done it, and I don't want to say we, but over time, if the community is strong, they weed out the douchebags, right? The douchebags fall to the wayside, and it kind of happens on its own. And one of the great things about that is you get people like Mighty Mel V, who, no matter when you talk to Mel, you could think he got slighted, and he's not going to think he got slighted. He's always going to say it's what you put into it. It's if you have the charisma, if you have energy, if you like selling books, Bueller has said he doesn't like selling books. It's not his thing. That's why he did what he did. He wanted to, show the country other comic shops. He wanted to show them the hunt, and that was what Whatnot was gaining out of it. Was that was a community building aspect. That was the community building aspect that Whatnot could have, and now that's completely gone. I don't think there isn't anything else.
Yeah,
That was it.
like you said, I wanted to. I'll just give you an example. That's perfect. I wanted to say Hive has the best mystery boxes. Go buy Hive mystery boxes.
We're
That
putting new
was
ones on the website.
that was my goal, you know, and not because I'm just saying that, but because I opened the box on my show that 8,000 people watch on a normal basis and said, this is the best mystery box I've ever opened. You guys should go buy this mystery box. And it was literally based on a whole, I actually wrote out how to grade a mystery box. I have all these details on how to do it. And it got the highest score we've ever done. That was my goal, and still is my goal, is to get people to buy other people's comics, to help Hive out, to help Bird City out, to help other publishers out. That's my goal. Not everyone has to sell comics. That's the thing. And hearing all these, like you guys mentioned, apparently 2 guys fighting. I don't know who either of those guys were, and I don't even know what you guys were talking about. I'm just sitting there like, what? And because I'm a little new into the dealer or the seller community, as far as hanging out with you guys or whatnot. It's not. I'm mainly hanging out with the reader and stuff, so it's a little different for me.
Welcome to the dark side, my friend.
Yeah, well, what are you doing, Rage? Come on.
You just remember who's cool and who's been nothing but respectful, and you just fuck with those people. Yeah.
Yep.
Words to live by, bro. That's it. Yeah.
Respect is free. Trust is earned. Never forget it.
And don't like slow your roll on that. Like, don't give people chances when you know, like, if you recognize something that happens over and over and over, it's going to continue to happen. Like, you have to be able to walk away from people that don't help you in some way. Like, relationships are everything. I was watching this really cool thing. I forget, it was some type of advertisement on Instagram or something. The guy was talking about, the 2 most important things for humans to survive, right? And that is, 1, your genes. You can't do anything about it. That's genetics. 2 is your social surroundings, is your friends, your family, your community, how you take care of each other. We need this as humans. We need to be able to depend on each other. We need to be able to have that social person that we can talk to. Like, I feel bad for people that don't have that friend out there that they can call up and go, hey man, am I tripping over this? And they're honest with you and say, yeah, dude, I think you're kind of tripping over this. Or, hey man, did I make a mistake here? Am I the one on the wrong? And they say, yeah, you made a mistake. And then being able to say, okay, I trust you enough that you're telling me the right thing. The social aspect is such a big deal for humans to succeed in anything in life. And it's not good over there right now. And that, to me, is the biggest problem. We all love the app. We love everything about it. We love some of the good things that they did. Bringing on OBS support early on. That was they cooked that out so fast, and it was great. They've been updating the framework of the app. Yeah, there have been problems, but that's with any startup. They have that thing. They've been really, to be honest, they've been pretty damn good about that, how they update stuff. The ease of the app, how the app is utilized, it's great. We love it. We can't say that enough. Like, you guys, whatnot. We cannot say enough how much we love the app. It's everything.
Love the
else.
shipping.
Yes, everything.
Love the shipping process. Love the payment process.
How quick everything
like uploading stuff, but that is what it is.
It's wonderful.
Through my travels, I've been to many comic shops, and there's many comic shops that are still open today because they started selling on Whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I gotta give all the credit. They use
like Frankie's Comics. They're still selling on Whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tool to use, and if I firmly believe that I've said this, you get what you put into it.
You better have a belt on, fellas. Long story short, get a belt on, get yourself a hammer, get a wrench. Get all that stuff, okay?
Yeah.
But,
it hasn't even been said yet. It needs to be said. But there are other apps out there to sell, like eBay, like Adrift. I use Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Loop.
Mess around on OfferUp, Mercari.
Hey, you guys. I'm jumping on, and I'm glad Bueller was in town the other day and got to go into Jesse's shop. I'm jumping on Comic Book Shopping Network full force, man. Like I've got my spot Monday night right before Jesse. I'm gonna start selling sports cards and comics on there, and I'm gonna do that on Mondays. On Tuesdays, I might jump on Whatnot. On Wednesdays, I might jump on IG. On Thursdays, I might put stuff on eBay. It's the pivot. It's figuring out what works best for you, knowing your customers, knowing your community. But it's also at the same time knowing that the community aspect and the toxic or non-toxic aspect is a big deal for the things that we use. And there's a lot of people that love Whatnot, but they just don't want to use it because of all the silliness that's been kind of going down behind the scenes. Communication, contracts, toxicity. There's a lot.
Can I put a challenge out there? Out there? Okay. It's not because I love Whatnot, but it's because I respect it because I use it. Anybody that's out there that's skeptical on it or not sure how to use it or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. And please stop by one of my shows sometime.
There you go.
Just so you can see how it actually goes down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. Of I'm gonna put links to everybody's stuff here. As you guys see, I got the retailer thing spinning. Hive Comics is one of the retailers that have just been supporting me ever since day one that I've met them, and I'm going to continue to do whatever I can to support them. So, James, you got anything coming up that's interesting?
We're dropping 3 exclusives this next weekend. We have a Ben Templesmith 8 Billion Genies that I'm going to be honest here, is probably the best 8 Billion Genies cover. It's pretty gnarly.
Ooh, and I think saying a lot.
We'll leak images in the next few days, but
Bird City has a stranglehold on that right now, bro. It's going to be tough.
I know. And that being said, I think one of the exclusives we are dropping next weekend is a shared exclusive with Bird City on a different book. So we've learned over the last few months, like Rage said, you find good people, and Rage is one of those good people. We love Rage. We talk to him a lot.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but guys, shout out to Hive Comics, because I will say this. When I first started on the app, they were some of the first retailers to literally just give me books and say, you know what, take this. I'm like, what are you talking about, take this? How much do you want? You're like, nothing. Just say you got it from Hive. I'm like, you know what, dude? Thank you.
I'm mad at you, though, because you're going to C2E2 and not MegaCon. So Jonathan gets to hang out with you and not me.
I can't go to both, man.
Yeah, I know.
Well, just be like Garrett Gunn and go to both, like 2 days at one and then 2 days at the other.
There you go.
I'm not rich. I can't do that. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, we got a bunch of exclusives dropping. As Bueller attested to, we do put out some amazing mystery boxes. I got a fat box of slabs that came in yesterday, and me and Jonathan have been submitting a full submission every week for the last month and a half, and they're trickling in now. But we're putting together some mystery boxes right now that rival any we've ever put out. And I think we're dropping. Actually, I think those are live on the website now, but we're gonna do a big push for them over this next week. So. New mystery boxes. People have been asking about them for 6 months. We keep telling them we're too busy. We can't put them together. Well, we're putting them together.
Nice.
Bueller, what about you, man? Let's talk about what is the future of the tour?
Well, we just hit a speed bump, but it was just a speed bump. Doesn't mean we're stopping anytime. I'm in Albuquerque right now. I'm probably going to be traveling for another month or so before I get back to Portland, which is my home base. People know me from YouTube. That's where I'm at. I'm out on YouTube. That's where my audience is, and that's where I make my videos. And I've been doing that next month will be 5 years. I'm really gonna put a focus back to the community aspect of my channel. I've always been focused on that, but even more so this year, I think is what I want to do, and just be a champion for the comic book industry itself, and just spread the goodness that's out there. The places like Hive Comics, let people know about Hive Comics, and with Rage and the stuff that he does. I just want to be an ambassador the rolling ambassador that goes around to every place in the United States that I possibly can, and just try to get more people involved in comic books. I mean, that's what I wanted to do from day one, and I get the opportunity to do it. And you know, the thing with Whatnot, I think we all said it. You know, I don't have any problem with the app. I think the app does good. Like I said, I've been to many comic shops that are still open to this day because of the app, and I love that. To me, that means the world. You know, because they got to keep on selling comics and stuff to the people looking for them. So my personal thing, the business wise, that's a whole other aspect of it. You know, that has nothing to do with what Rage does, with what Hive does on the app. They're selling to their audience. They're taking care of them like they should. Both very good sellers, very, very well respected sellers. The first time I met James, hell, he just walked up to me and gave me a box of comics as well at a comic shop. I didn't even know how he knew I was going to be there. But he just walks up to me and hands me this box. He goes, "Oh, this is Hive Comics." He goes, "Thanks for the review on the mystery boxes and stuff." But anyway,
I'm looking forward to it.
As far
One
as
of the things that we want to do, that I definitely want to do here, is keep an eye on where you're at every week, and I would love to kind of update people on where you're heading. And you know, I think one of the important things, and I've talked about it, one of the things that I definitely want to key on this year is the LCS aspect, is the hunt of that item that you're looking for, whether it's a comic or a toy or a card, and going out into the wild at your LCSs or your flea markets or your garage sales and finding
Yes.
that, and how exciting that is to do that. And you're doing that, man. That is what you're doing, and that's what I love. So, man, keep getting out as much content as possible. I would love to see, you know, as much video and stuff in the stores that you're in. And I would love to get maybe a little map graphic going on Modern Comic Mayhem every week of where Bueller is in the country. So
yeah, you know, this year I want to break a record. This year I want to be able to say that I've been to more comic shops than anyone in the world, and
that's a good one.
I have an opportunity to do that. People didn't really think about that, but if I can go to every comic shop in America, I don't think anyone can say that I've been to more shops than you. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'll bring up his name again. Shout out Jesse James, Jesse James Comics. He's done some great things with Guinness World Records and you know, done some cool things. Maybe you need to have him put you in touch with somebody to get that taken care of, because I think that's a possible goal that can be reached too.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that. Awesome guy. I mean, seriously, Jesse watches my show. He's been watching my show for years, and really enjoys it. So when I got to meet him in person, I mean, he knew shows I did 3 years ago. He was quoting, you know, things I said, and just a wealth of knowledge. And he's just a little guy, so I felt a little weird next to him because I'm a lot.
Yeah, you're a monster. Yeah.
But it was great seeing him, and he really opened my eyes. And it's one of those moments in the comic book community. You're like, yeah, this is pretty special. So I really enjoyed meeting that guy.
Real quick, what are some other shops that have really blown you away in the first third of your tour that you know you think people should really do their best to get to?
If you're familiar with Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers, he's a manager of a comic shop, and I think it's called the Deep, and it's in Huntsville, Alabama. He never talks about the shop that much, but it is probably the best shop I've ever been to.
Ooh.
And they probably have like 50 people on staff. They have shopping carts at the door because people are in there filling up shopping carts of comics and stuff like that. But literally, they have sections of everything, and not just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's like tons of everything. It's like they have a whole section for Golden Age. They have a whole section for Silver Age. They have a whole section for Pokemon. They have a whole section for toys. It's like 8,000 square feet, and it's 2 stories. And it's just like there's one other comic shop.
Sounds like fun.
City, and they're like the size of, you know, maybe 1,000 square feet. But there's the Deep is just, it was amazing. I just sat there like, oh my god, this is you would never have to go to another comic shop. And he never talks about it on the show. I mean, people know he works at a shop, but he never. I asked him. I said, how come you don't do any videos here, nothing like that? He goes, I don't know, just something I want to keep separate. But it's by far probably one of the best shops I've been to. And then there was another one called Yancey Street in Florida. I think I got the name right. It was in Florida, I think towards Tampa Bay. and I really enjoyed that one. They had a tier system on their 50-cent books. You bought like 10, they're 50 cents a piece. You bought 20, they're 40 cents a piece. I mean, it almost got down to like 10 cents a piece, depending on how many you bought. And that was a pretty cool shop. And then the most unique one was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is where I'm here at now. I might go visit. Half the shop was auto parts, and the other half of the shop was long boxes of comics. The store's name is called Aftermarket Auto Parts and Collectibles.
That's cool.
And you could buy a muffler, and you could buy a Hulk 181. So, I mean, whatever you want. It was a very unique shop. So
I didn't buy comics,
know
bought
when
a
you come
part
out
for
to
my
the Bay
car. I
Area,
swear.
man.
That's what the car bill says.
yeah,
Yeah, let me know when
Yeah,
you
that's
come out to
good
the Bay
stuff.
Area.
awesome, man. I will soon, actually, probably.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
try
super
to
cool,
stick
man.
to this area.
I have a customer. It's not much of a comic shop, but we actually have a customer who owns a gun store, and it's literally half and half. He's got guns and comics.
Wait, where is this?
I'm gonna have to ask him. I'm gonna have to ask him. I've been in talks with him
holding
to
out
trade
on
him
me
some
now,
comics
are
for
ya,
guns.
huh?
Yeah.
What?
Sounds like a shop in
Okay.
Texas.
Dude, he might be in Texas.
Hey, James, let me ask you a question. There was one guy in Utah that had a shop in the mall, and he was moving to a bigger location, like across the mall. Do you know if that ever happened?
I don't talk to or about him,
Okay.
and I
I'm
don't
sorry.
care. I do not care if he moved to a van down by the river. I
Okay.
don't give two
Well,
shits.
I'd let you know if he was down by the river in a van, so. He'd probably be parked right next to me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Sorry
good
about that.
stuff.
I don't dislike very many people, but that's one in my handful of people
Okay.
that he can go to hell, him and his brother. So
All right.
Oh, that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer. I hate when that stuff happens, but it seems to happen a lot in this world right now. That's for sure, man. Rage, what do you got coming up, brother? Anything exciting other than a sale every day that you're multiple sales a day?
So actually tomorrow I'm having a few people on the Comics and Chaos channel. Brian will be joining me, so we'll have a nice little Q&A discussion over there. I just hit 10K and whatnot, so we'll be doing a 10K giveaway next weekend on the app. So if you guys like free shit, come check it out. And I got IG claim sale next week, so check out the page.
That's awesome, dude. That's cool. Oh yeah.
I'd be remiss to say that I'll be on. Me and Jonathan will both be on Awesome Sauce on Wednesday. I think Adam's in the chat, and he'd probably strangle me, or yeah, he's right there. He'll probably yell at me if I don't mention that. So,
shout out to our boy Adam. Make sure you guys are following Awesome Sauce Radio. Yee, what do you got going on, brother?
So I think I'm gonna try to be on Whatnot tomorrow if I actually remember to run my show. Like I was supposed to be on earlier this weekend, but like I was just under the weather. But I am excited because our boy Stein, who is in the chat, he will be sending me my PSA cards I submitted through him very soon, and we will be doing a unboxing video at some point in time. So we'll be doing that on the House of Stein. So I'm really excited about that. I have no idea what my grades are on the cards, and it's going to be
What kind of cards?
Sports cards.
Awesome.
So basketball and baseball.
Cool.
Is mainly like what I collect. So I'm really excited about that. So we'll see how that goes.
I need to send in some Pokemon cards. What do you recommend, PSA or CGC?
Ooh. I think PSA is doing a special right now for non-sports cards, like for trading cards right now.
Oh, you don't say. Like discount or faster sub times?
I think it's a discount per card.
Because those submission times they're still at a year.
No. So like we submitted these cards probably at the I think at the end of November, beginning of December, and then so it's like what 2 months or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, if you already have a CGC account too, that's where it's like, what? So what kind of cards are you submitting?
Like base set, Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, main three. Just I got a lot of duplicates of those, so.
Yeah. So I mean, so far what I've noticed is that like most Pokemon collectors don't care if there's a difference between PSA and CGC. Like, as long as it's graded, like, they're happy.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's much of a price gap difference between a PSA, whatever card versus a CGC.
Well, then doesn't CGC add like another sub tier of grading?
They do that, like BGS does that as well.
Mm.
But I think is that an extra fee? I don't know. I've never submitted cards.
That's a good question. I have no idea. Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
If it's an extra fee, that's a no bueno. So yeah.
Yeah, but usually it's not too much more per card to grade that. But I mean, just like in our world, how CGC versus CBCS, CGC is king. It's PSA versus CGC. PSA is going to be king, and prices.
Right. Good stuff.
Yep.
Travis, do you deal with any other collectibles other than comics?
I don't think so. No.
He collects buses now.
It's gonna be auto parts soon too. After he gets back from the
mufflers.
I'm trying to think as I look around. There's not much in here, so no. I don't really have a lot of room to collect more than one thing. I actually don't even have room to collect comic books anymore. I have a very, very small collection. But luckily,
Nothing wrong with that.
I read a lot of digital because Marvel and Image and Boom all send me digital copies of all their books, so I get plenty to read.
Yeah, that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
Yep.
So, I unfortunately I think a lot of things are going to be heading that way. It's one of these days. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up and we see DC deciding not to do print media anymore. So, which is a real big bummer. So, but we'll see. All right, that is enough of the Whatnot talk, you guys. I'm going to get into a little bit of tonight's news and stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You're more than welcome to hang out. You guys can bounce whenever. I appreciate you guys coming and being on this roundtable. I love doing the roundtable talks. I think it helps for we share a lot of community members and stuff like that. So, it's nice to get a lot of people together, a lot of heads together that are in this community and rocks the way we do. So. Very, very good stuff. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to head out, guys. Pleasure being on here per usual. I want to do a giveaway, though, for your audience. So I think we'll do it like based on the comments. So maybe I'll check the video like tomorrow or something, and everyone that commented can get entered into like a random giveaway or something.
What we should do, bro, is whoever comments.
Is there a way you can do it right now?
Well, no. Here's what we should do. Check it out. So what we'll do is. We will do a giveaway based on whoever comments below, and on tomorrow's show on your channel, I'll do a random comment picker, and we'll choose the winner tomorrow on the show.
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go.
Right. I'll show everybody what it is. It's a virgin copy of a Berserker 1 exclusive that I did with Mill Geek Comics. If you guys are interested in that, then you heard the man. All you got to do is comment on this video, shipping on me. Those are limited to 500 reprints. Berserker 1. If you haven't read that, I highly recommend it.
Did it the smart way, brother. Did it the smart way. Keep that print run low.
Lot easier too. Well, actually, in like about 150 of those were damaged, so really the print run's like 350. So it's pretty tough book and high grade. I'm starting to realize. Never do a black back cover, guys.
Yeah, we learned that.
Never do a black back cover. You'll learn the hard way, but
yep.
All right, guys. I'll Brian, I'll see you tomorrow. Gents, I'm sure we'll talk again.
Yeah,
thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna take off as well. Thanks for having me on. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I thought
hope to do it again, brother. Let's keep in touch, and like I said, I would love to keep everybody updated on where the Bueller bus is every week. So
awesome. Best way to do that right now, for the time being, is my Instagram. I probably post there daily where I'm at and where I'm going. So if anyone's looking for where I'm going right now I'm in Albuquerque. I'll probably be leaving here next week, heading towards Vegas, I think. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah. All right, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, and good luck on the tour. And I'll be in touch.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, make sure you guys go follow Bueller on all his socials, and of course on his YouTube channel. We appreciate you, brother. All right, you guys, let's get into some interesting stuff here. Let me do this. Did you guys hear an echo? Yes, no?
I was a little bit, but not anymore.
Yeah, it kind of settled out.
Okay, good. Why do I got an echo in here? Let me do this.
I think it was traffic noise coming from Bueller's.
Yeah.
van.
All right. Let's get into some of this stuff. Why did I get an echo in here? Maybe just mute that. There we go. All right. Hopefully that'll. Nope. Let me try this. Check. Check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear the echo?
No echo.
All right, no echo. All right, can you guys hear me okay still? Can you hear me now? Check.
Mhm.
Yeah? All right. All right. Why isn't this working? This is being a pain in the ass. Anyways, a couple things I want to talk about. We lost another great comic creator this week. Jason Pearson, the artist who was on Body Bag, did a lot of great art for Body Bag.
It kind of sounds like your mic is kind of in and out a little bit.
Check. Motherfucker.
Sounds good now.
This does sound good now?
Wait, keep talking.
Going? Check.
Yeah, it sounds fine now.
Okay. All right, here we go. Jason Pearson, an amazing artist who was doing, known for Body Bags, also known for one of the greatest covers ever drawn. The Gen 13 cover for the box set that is just absolutely gorgeous. Passed away. J. Scott Campbell put out this post that was pretty good. He says, "Was saddened to read the news that another fellow comic book artist and colleague, Jason Pearson, had passed far before his time last month at the age of just 52. Jason's energetic and highly stylized work burst onto the scene in the mid-90s and was well ahead of its time. I remember being completely knocked out, inspired by his cartoony yet highly detailed approach. Many of my longtime fans will remember Jason's iconic recreation of the Janet Jackson Rolling Stone cover featuring Fairchild and grunge, which is, this book right here, you guys, was the reason why people went crazy for that Gen 13 box set. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What a great box set that they put out, and this cover is, the thing that fed it. This book sells for, a nice chunk of change still. And it is probably the most iconic cover in the Gen 13 run. I don't think I can think of any other cover that is as good as this. This, of course, is just the virgin art. If you guys haven't seen the regular cover, here is the regular cover. Let me go ahead and show you this. This is just beautiful. Such a great book. There we go. Amazing. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So that's a bummer.
It kind of makes me wonder right now, especially with the magazine market becoming more popular, which one's going to end up being worth more, right? The original of the Rolling Stones magazine or this comic homage cover?
Yeah, great question. Whatever happened?
Wait, am I missing something, or did Brian just disappear?
Yeah, I think you're in charge of the show now.
I have no control over this now. Oh, I see Brian coming back.
That was weird, dude.
Yeah, you started in the middle of a question, and then I was kind of anticipating a question, and then I heard nothing.
Yeah, dude. That was weird.
Yeah.
And all my seeds went bye. Just killed me. All right, let me get back to this, you guys. I apologize. All right. We're learning. We're figuring this stuff out. All right, here we go. Jason Pearson passed away at 52. Some of his stuff. This is a great little post right here. And very well known for body bags, the comic body bags. Whatever happened to that? That was a big book, man. That was a major deal back in the day. And recently, I feel like a year ago, didn't it get optioned or something? Wasn't there option news on it?
I think a lot of indie titles, like, you know, classic titles that we grew up and loved, were being picked up for options and stuff like that. I mean, there's two plays to that, really, right? That, like, hey, I have the option for this IP. I'm gonna actually do something with it, or I don't want my competitor to be able to do something with this property, so I'm gonna hold it for, you know, until it expires. And then it becomes like kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of a situation, right?
Yeah. It's interesting, man, how the option game works, but you know, it is what it is. It says here, Jason was one of the original members of Atlanta, Georgia-based Gaijin Studios, and his Body Bags Comics was the debut title for the Blanc Noir line of titles produced by Gaijin Studios for Dark Horse. It was enthusiastically received by comic book fans. Despite working for many companies on Meiji projects, he found himself returning to the series about a Hispanic father and daughter team of assassins, Mac Delgado Clownface and his teenage daughter Panda. This was despite his own misgivings on occasion, and he leaves an unfulfilled Kickstarter campaign from 2015. That fucking sucks, man. That's a bummer. So, a lot of creators showed their love and respect for him and talked about him. This is a very interesting article. Go check it out. And what a great artist that another creator left way too soon, you guys. This seems to be happening. You know, it's going to happen more and more as we get older, and nothing beats Father Time, man. There's only one thing in this world that's black and white, and that is time. So it's a bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next, I want to talk about some other interesting stuff. Did you guys see this? Holy cow, man! Adam Hughes. Look at this cover. They're doing yeah. Look at that, man.
There's going to be a 1 in 10 virgin incentive for this.
Dude, this is amazing right here. This is the type of stuff I want to see as more and as much as possible. Like, Adam Hughes has been killing it lately. He had a little dry spell, I think, for a period of time there, and man, he has destroyed it with his last 10 covers, I feel. And this is one, and it's a Dave Stevens, little Rocketeer homage that I love. Another creator that we lost way too early and is getting a lot of love right now. So very, very cool book right there. Be on the lookout for that. That is coming out. Let's see here. IDW is set to publish the new Rocketeer anthology based on the character created by Dave Stevens, with 3 stories from 3 creative teams. The development of this new Rocketeer comic project began during the making of the documentary Dave Stevens Drawn to Perfection, when filmmaker Kevin Mao discussed that Danny Bilson and the late Paul DeMeo, the original screenwriters of the Rocketeer film, had written an unpublished Rocketeer book guest starring aviation pioneer Amelia Earhart. And so Mao, along with the film's executive producer Robert Wyndham, approached Adam Hughes to illustrate the tale, and the project evolved into a one-shot anthology and edited by Scott Dunbier. Quote, "What an amazing gift born out of making Dave Stevens drawn to perfection. It's been a singular privilege in collaborating with some of Dave's longtime pals in a bona fide Rocketeer comic." So pretty damn cool, man. And if we're going to get Adam Hughes interior art, that could be amazing, right?
Yeah, that would be
Nice.
phenomenal.
I don't know if we're going to get it, but we'll see. It says that there's going to be the Rocketeer one-shot includes 8-page story by Bilson, DeMeo, and Hughes. So we're going to get an 8-page art story by Hughes. That's good. I'll take that. A 12-page story by Cliff Secord's date night with Betty, leading to trouble with a vaguely familiar adventure archaeologist, written by Mao, drawn by Craig Cermak, and colored by Laura Martin. A 4-page story of Rocketeer fighting a Japanese Zero in the South Pacific. That sounds awesome. Written by Robert Wyndham, drawn by Jay Lee, and colored by June Chung. With pinups by Phil Noto and Maria Laura Sanapo. That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
I love Rocketeer, dude. I always thought Rocketeer was like that cool mix between like old golden age like time period. Like to me, my favorite time period is that like 1920s to 1950s era, and then you throw in it's got like that what do they call that?
Steampunk.
Art, steampunk, yeah, steampunk feel, and it's Dave Stevens, and yeah, man, this is going to be good. So be on the lookout for this. Of course, we all know the Adam Hughes cover is going to be one of those books. If you guys didn't watch Hot 10 last night, the #1 book on Stein's list was that Jack White World's Finest book. And that book, we all knew that was going to be a banger. It was a, open order variant, and you could have bought as many as you wanted. And people are eating off that like no other. Could the Adam Hughes book be something like that? We'll see. We'll see.
Tom in the chat is saying that there's a Kickstarter that's going to have a different cover from Hughes.
Ooh.
So that might be some good cornbread. Like especially like with like Pop Kills, because that was originally a Kickstarter book, Adam Hughes cover. Something not to sleep on.
We'll look and see if we can find it. Rocket. The Rocketeer flies back into comics with a one-off issue. The Rocketeer and Dave Stevens documentary film. Is it this? This is going to be a cool documentary. One time. Ooh. And a Jay Lee book.
Wow.
So here you go. Here are the covers, you guys. Rocketeer one-shot comic book Kickstarter exclusive editions. Team of Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo are the original screenwriters. Award-winning Adam Hughes was told about this during his interview. He had wanted to illustrate. So it says here, the comic features 3 new Rocketeer stories, 8-page story written. So it's going to be the same book, but with different covers. So there you go. Go check that out. It might be, like you said, definitely worth it. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you. So that's cool shit. That's very cool shit. I like stuff like that. I love that that rare stuff that people don't know about until it blows up, like that other Kickstarter you were talking about.
Yeah,
that was good shit. So here's some other interesting stuff. Unfortunately, more of the bad major layoffs reported at Amazon and Comixology. Comixology staffers are reporting wide-scale redundancies today across the digital comics publishers and distributor, as well as its parent company, Amazon. It's one of the things that we're going to keep an eye on this year. And, I know that, for every 3 stores that close, 4 stores open. And, sometimes it's a good thing. But this is what I'm really worried about when we have more of the big publishers falling to the wayside, more of the big retailers filing for bankruptcy, more of, things like this, Comixology. That's a lot of jobs in comics. And, I think we're going to see more retailers, more big retailers like Frankie's fall to the wayside, and more big publishers like Aftershock know a lot of people are hearing that Valiant could be next. Here's something there, but we'll try to keep an eye on that stuff. What do you think about that, James?
Do I be James or controversial James or?
I want to know what you truly think about it.
Okay, if you're
Are you worried?
if you're a retailer and you're doing good business and you're doing it the right way, you're never going to. If you're doing it fully the right way, you're fine. You can weather the storm. You can weather damn near any storm, shy of them totally getting rid of print media. So,
yeah. All right, you guys are gonna have to tell me if you guys can hear this. I hope it works. Let's take a look here. This is big news, you guys. This, to me, I think it's big news. Let's see if this works here. Can you hear that? No.
Maybe the audience though can hear it.
Can the audience hear it? Did the audience hear it? Let's see here. You don't let me do this.
Well, I wonder if that's gonna affect the digital market though, right? Because if Comixology is closing, isn't that where a lot of people who read digital comics get their comics from?
Yeah. Can you hear it now?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
That's a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to figure that shit out. Oh, well, it is what it is. Well, basically, Hugh Jackman came out and explained that Wolverine is why Wolverine is coming back for Deadpool, and because you guys can't hear, it's a dead story.
what if I played the audio on my phone? I could probably pull up the clip real quick.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Okay.
But let me see here. What if I do stop sharing, and then I go share screen, share your system's audio, and now do it. All right, let's try it now. Here we go.
Are aliens invading? Oh, that's a good suggestion. Use subtitles.
Brian, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Motherfucker.
Heard that.
All right, here we go. All right, so some other stuff I want to go into. I got some fun stuff to talk about. Did you guys see this? Jason Momoa walking out of Warner Brothers Studio hyped because he's getting to play the character that he's always wanted to play. And I think we know who that is. It's just more info that Lobo is coming.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
He is,
Hell,
is,
yeah.
Yeah, he is stoked about that shit. So Lobo is coming, and I think that's a good thing. So the MCU's Blade reboot reportedly starts filming in May of 2023, so it is not dead. It is just taking some time to get it figured out. So that's a good thing. Shout out to Tales from the Flipside crew for throwing that up for me to check out. This was interesting. I'm not going to get too much into it, but we've got another trans-masculine, non-binary new character for DC. And one of the books that was on the Hot 10 last night was the Murder... What's her name? Murder Flash, whatever. Anyways. Well, the other character that's coming from that storyline is going to be a new character called Circuit Breaker, a quote-unquote trans-masculine, non-binary force user. It's not the Speed Force, it's called the Still Force. And Eric July is always good about breaking those things down. Make sure you guys go check him out.
Wait, is that for DC or is it actually for Rippaverse?
DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Bird City for everybody out there that got their copies. They sold out of their new 8 Billion Genies, their final Mario Bros. Homage. So they got to do one for each of the series. You got to do one for 2, 3, and 1. So congrats on them. Trish Forstner continuing to kill it. Love Bird City. They are, one of the OGs. All right, another thing that was very cool. International Comics spotlighted by CGC and Matt Nelson. Shout out to all the foreign comics fans out there. This was kind of cool to see CGC drop a video on their YouTube channel. Matt Nelson, friend of the channel and all-around good dude. I know CGC gets a lot of crap, but I think Matt Nelson is one of the good guys in comics, and we're going to continue to support him any chance we got. And he just loves the foreign collecting community, and I think it's cool that CGC is putting whatever they can behind that community. So continue to do so.
I've heard his grading guidebook is really good from a couple of different sources now at this point. Yeah.
It's cool, man. It's cool. So make sure you check that out. He did some more stuff. This is the video, and I wish I could have the sound issues totally fixed, but I'll get them totally fixed so there's never any problems ever again sometime. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. What else do we got? Because I can't show you the sound, a lot of this is going to be saved for next week because it is important, but this one we can't save for next week. Todd McFarlane has the top 3 all-time submitted CGC comics. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 300, or Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 300, and Spawn #1. The top 3 most submitted comics to CGC now, especially since he's been doing these crazy signing things. Have you guys seen all the Todd McFarlane sales flooding eBay?
Oh, yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts right now.
Bro.
You just type in CGC signature series on eBay, and it's so much, especially on the auction side, it's so many Todd McFarlane books.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go Ending Soonest, CGC McFarlane books, and let's just roll through this. Look at
2
this.
2 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 16 hours, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's tons of them. Look at all the sales. Wait until you see the sales.
You're not even a day into it. You're not even 24 hours into what's ending, and you were already.
Let me do it this way so you see more. These are all sold on the 20th. I'll tell you when it changes. There we go, 19th. I mean, Jesus. 18th.
And those are a weekday.
17th. I mean,
there's going to be more over the weekend than there is during the weekdays too. It's just It's crazy. Get on it though, make your money.
Well, here's the problem. Do you think these people are making their money? Because there's a ton of books out there. I don't think that they're selling. A lot of these are selling. I mean, a 9.8 CGC, 9.8 newsstand of 2 for $8.50. That's a good sale, but is a 9.8
Yeah. For 338, I think that's a good sale.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
because what was
How
the
much is
buy-in? It was like 160.
for just the autograph, or was it 250?
I think it was like 160 for the autograph and grading, and then if you add in extra stuff like, the special label or whatever, that's an extra, $5 or whatever, $5-10. I don't remember the cost for additional the special labels, but I want to say it was like 160 with grading.
That's a pretty good one right there. Yeah, man, that's I don't know. I feel like a lot of these are going to drop in price, and we're going to have to wait for a lot of them to come off the market until he does another sale. But hey, to have the top 3 graded books of all time at CGC, that's a pretty big deal, in my opinion. That means that he's putting out, or he put out many quality projects. So,
Yeah.
On top of everything else.
Well, he's an icon of the 90s comic book scene.
You guys know how big of a fan I am with the creator first stuff. If you guys don't know, there is a link in the description below for the Beyond Wednesdays comic creator first list. And as you can see right here, we've got Coyote. Number 11, the very first Todd McFarlane professionally published art. And an 8.5 sold for $142, and I feel like that is a killer deal. Such a tough book to find in high grade, and even signed it in pink, which is interesting. But for those of you guys that want more information on books like this, just click the link in the description below. There is commenting available for anybody that wants to add anything to the list. Just comment, and I'll add it. This is a list of comics and magazines that have the first art, story, or letter from comic book creators and famous collectors. First include the first professional work, the earliest amateur work, and letters or art sent in as kids or teenagers. If you have any information to add to this list, I've opened up commenter status for anyone with a link. Let's go to Todd McFarlane and take a look at some of the items in McFarlane, other than the famous Coyote number 11.
I like 13.
We have got Superman number 366. That is a book that he wrote in the letter column. I wish, if I could, I would go find that letter column, but you can't right now. Green Lantern 144, he also wrote in a letter. His very first published artwork was the Comics Journal number 84, where he sent in a Batman drawing as a kid or a teenager. Then he did Coyote number 11. His very first Spider-Man artwork was Amazing Spider-Man 298, of course. His first full story art, All-Star Squadron number 47, and some other early work that a lot of people forget about for Todd McFarlane, Spitfighter and the Troubleshooters number 4. Be on the lookout for that one. So lots of great stuff over here. This is going to be a segment every month that we're going to go through a couple of these in depth. And anything that gets added new to it, I would love to key in on. So if there's anybody out there that wants to add to this list, it is an ever-growing list. It will also be in the Discord too, and we'll give you more information on that in a little bit. So very, very cool stuff. I love this type of stuff. We're not only going to do creator first lists, we're going to do cool niche collecting lists like Archie innuendo covers and skull covers, alien and UFO covers I love, stuff like that. So make sure you guys sign up for the Discord. If you guys haven't signed up for the Discord yet, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. I have both links for both Discords that I'm heavily part of right now. That includes On the Radar Discord and the Beyond Wednesdays Discord. Here is what the Discord looks like. And one of the things that I'm going to do probably next week, I'm going to have a segment just keying in on what the Discord is and how to use it. I know a lot of people are a little worried about it. It's a way to put a forum on steroids, and it's its own app. A way to explain it is I have a comics category, as you can see here. I have a Modern Comic Mayhem category for the Saturday night show. I have a Bogcast category for my Bogcast show. And you basically click each category and it opens up, and you can add all kinds of channels. We have a pickups channel that we've started. We have the creators first list. So if you ever want to call in to Modern Comic Mayhem, you just call in to this room right here that I just entered, and you can talk to us over this. So it's a lot of fun, and we're going to utilize it to the fullest. Also on the radar, you guys, where I was able to find my grail. If you're looking for a grail of your own, this is the place to do it. This thing is just really popping off. I think that we're close to 500 users over here now, which is nice. So hopefully at some point I have a bot that I figured out where we can share rooms. So I'm going to just go check out the Discord. It's tits over there. It's really, really, really cool. I love it. So, all right, let's get into some artwork. Well, before we're artwork, let me see here if there's anything else that I want to show. I want to show this. Shout out to our boy Astro Wizard, a great artist in the comics community. I think his girl is a great artist too. So make sure you guys follow them both. But he does this amazing like graffiti Star Wars art that is just beautiful, and he put up this AT-AT that is amazing. And it says here, finally finished the AT-AT and it's going up for sale. I have the original X-Wing up next if anyone's interested in having something for your Star Wars that your Star Wars friends don't. So beautiful, beautiful art right here. Shout out to Astro Wizard, killing it. I mean, just continues to destroy that stuff. So I love it. All right, next we have our IG art. I love talking about artists, unknown artists out there. If you guys don't know who Art by Fritz is, we had him on the show a few weeks ago, and James fell in love with him. I know a lot of other people fell in love with him. James got his art up on the wall behind him. Fritz did this piece here that is just gorgeous. This is Super Mood Volume 3, acrylic on wood. And he found, it says, appreciate my newfound family for helping me make this vision come true. And as you can see, his art is just great. He's got shirts that you can get. And check him out, man. He's got some great stuff. I mean, great, great artist. Really, really talented. He needs to be on a comic cover soon, and I'm sure that's going to happen sooner than
he needs to email me back is what he needs to do.
Yes. Yes,
He's probably watching too. And be like, oh crap, I need to email James.
Yeah, hey buddy, I sent you an email. Check it out. Email me back.
Shout out to Fritz. All right, man. Let's get into some other ones that I love. All right, I love Mr. Skull stuff, and this is an artist, Tokibi. This is the artist, but look how killer this skull art is that he does. Tokibi_artist, and this stuff is just beautiful. I love skull art.
Looks like a future like NFT project or something.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. This is a good artist. Make sure to check him out. Really, really good stuff. Next, another one that I like. Check this out, you guys. This is Steph Draws Stuff, and this is awesome. She does this like liquid paint layering and then puts the liquid on a medium, and look how beautiful this turns out.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Bro, that is like gorgeous.
It's like an art stencil, like to the next level or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Beautiful. Next, this is another interesting thing. This is what do they call this when it's like lettering, not fonts? There's a word for it, but
typography.
Yeah, this guy is amazing. Look at what he does with this right here. The end product is so good that it made me almost want to reach out to him and have him make something. This is gorgeous right here. It's a table that he's working on. And I'm just going to let him finish. It is so badass. This is the type of shit you see people put on windows and stuff. I'm sure, James, you have a tattoo shop. You've had stuff like this done before,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we've had stuff like that done. Yeah.
A lot of comic shops do it. I've walked into comic shops and see people outside doing stuff on windows and stuff. But man, the finished product in this is next level shit. Like gorgeous stuff.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that is beautiful. All right, next we have. I love these woodcuts when people do these woodcuts. This is Spencer Mann, and this is called Johnny. Micron and Coptic marker on a wood slice 9 inches tall. Look at this. Robin with his face melted, it looks like. Wow.
A lot of detail on that.
Yeah. There's Fritz. This is amazing right here. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. The real old school Alex. Not printing just yet. Just have to check my work and make sure the values will look correct. There will only be 50 of these prints made. He's making these into prints, and this is amazing. Just gorgeous. I love shit like this. That's pretty dope.
Wow, I'll be afraid to like scratch up the guitar like after cover like that. Put on it.
This is pretty cool. This is in Phoenix. I saw this and had to find out where it was from. It's some badass art on fences in Phoenix, and I just love shit like that too. It's cool. Shout out to Maggie Keene. She also does really good stuff like this. This is Prime After Prime. So this is some, I think that it says here that this was created using Midjourney with editing and Photoshop, some more AI art, but I key in on some of the AI art. Shout out to Nearing Nirvana, who had an amazing show last night where they talked about AI art with some great creators, and it was one of the best shows of the year so far. Really, really good stuff. This is interesting. Miles Morales was introduced in Spider-Verse in 2011, Ultimate Fallout 4. Here is the original art. That's interesting, huh? There's the second print add-on. I wonder who owns that.
I wonder.
Yeah. To the boy Eric Hurd, another great community member, another one of the good guys. This is pretty cool. His own cover. The Last Ronin, The Lost Years, issue 1, negative baby virgin retailers exclusive, limited to 707 copies, it says. So go find out where this is from and score yourself one. That's a cool cover, man. Good job, Eric. Good stuff. Look at this, you guys. This is a statue. Yeah. Symbiote Transformation by XMS Studios, sculpted by Tiago Rios. That is fucking amazing, man. That's one of the best sculpture statues, anything I've ever seen, man. Amazing.
When you see those booths at New York Comic Con, you're like, oh, I know I can't afford anything in this booth.
Yeah, I know why they're so expensive.
Yeah.
This is some beautiful art, future art, AI art also, but I love that. That's a cool picture. There we go. Who doesn't love mushrooms and skulls together? Mr.
Nice.
Skull again, Falling Star, Poisonous Life of Mr. Skull. This is Embraced by Death art right here. And that is awesome. Great stuff. Another more skull stuff. This is Synth 3 Tick is the artist. And that is beautiful stuff right there, man. A skeleton creating a black hole. How about this? I love glass blowers and glass artists. They've really blown up with the legalization and destigmatizing of cannabis. And you get some amazing artists out there because of it. And I have something, I don't know what it is, but I've always thought marbles were cool ever since I was a kid. I think that's one of the first things that a lot of us kids growing up collects are marbles. I remember looking for them all the time, and you always kept your favorite ones you traded with friends, and There's some guys out there, some really good glass artists that make some amazing, these big, huge marbles, and they sell for ridiculous money. They have like opals in them and infinity things and mirrors and all kinds of cool stuff.
But a lot of them nowadays, right? You use them for, like dabs, right? For the quartz bangers or whatever.
Yeah. Again, Astro Wizard. This is a custom Edge of Spider-Verse #1 sketch cover. Damn good job, my friend. So check out Astro Wizard on IG.
Nice. I want to see the street work art now, though.
James Jean is one of the goats, you guys. He's not the goat. He's one of the goats. And this is his Pinocchio limited edition print that he released. It was 5 weeks ago, but I had to show everybody it again. I know I've showed it before, but it's beautiful. Look at this, you guys. This is snow art. David Papa Art on IG. All you need is some glaciers, some big brooms, and a mini helicopter with a camera on it.
How's that all? And maybe a little dab of artistic talent.
Yeah, and some mushrooms.
Well, you don't need a helicopter anymore because you could just get a drone, right?
That's what I mean. It's a mini helicopter with a camera on it. Look how badass that is, dude. That's amazing. Shout out to artists out there. Keep creating, you guys. Keep creating. Don't ever stop. Don't ever let AI win, even though it's kind of cool. Art O Folly right here. Another cool skull skeleton piece. How about some Jack Kirby art? Shout out to Wanted Comics who put this up for Happy Hanukkah, and I forgot to talk about it. It's a pretty cool little Happy Hanukkah card that Jack Kirby did back in the day. Follow Jack Kirby's grandson on IG. He's always posting cool Jack Kirby stuff. Here's that James Jean piece, the sketch, the original sketch. Amazing. How about this? This is like next level shit, you guys. This is taking water and paints, different type of paints, and putting frequency sound to it. And certain frequencies give you certain shapes. And that is freaking cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. Yep. This is 80 hertz sine wave right here, you guys. Water, paint, light, and sound with an 80 hertz sine wave. Journey of Curiosity. Check them out. Beautiful skull art. James Shurett art. It's beautiful. And then this is another James Jean piece. Watching him create. Beautiful. Love stuff like this. I love these time-lapse artist pieces. Shout out to our boy Tomb, Swords and Snakes. He's going to be doing more streaming while he's drawing. And at some point, I've convinced him to start coming on the show. He doesn't have to even talk. He can just sit there and draw, hang out. So we'll get him on here and do this on the channel. Make sure you guys are following Swords and Snakes.
Oh, I've been on this show already.
Yeah,
Dude.
man.
Yeah, just hanging out. It's fun. We've decided to start a bobsled team, so
cool running style, lots of cannabis.
Yeah.
So beautiful stuff, man. A lot of work goes into good art, and he's one of the best, that's for sure. Jesus. Wish he would do more comic art. I don't see him do much comic art anymore. It's too big in the modern art world. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, some more AI art. AI was asked to turn each country into a villain, and this is what it came up with. This is pretty interesting. Japan is like a samurai. Russia is like a tiger. USA, look at USA, dude. What the hell is that? It's like a rich guy in a suit with a skull. Germany looks like a barbarian. Ukraine looks like a zombie. Egypt looks badass. That looks dope right there, man. That, what do they call that wolf again? That god. Mexico looks badass. It's just like a flaming skull. Brazil looks like a rainforest monster. Qatar looks like Obi-Wan. Australia looks like a boxing kangaroo. UK looks pretty badass. And China is just a big dragon. Greece looks like a old school Greek god. Jamaica looks badass. It looks like a crazy Jamaican zombie, dude. Look at that. Thailand is a boxing bull. Peru looks badass. Looks like Namor on steroids.
For Jamaica, I thought of Blanca from Street Fighter.
Yeah, yeah. Look how badass that is. And these are villains, you guys. If each country was a villain. Look at South Africa, dude. South Africa looks amazing. It's like a mix between like an antelope and a South African tribesman warrior. India is a badass elephant with like that paint that they throw on each other for their religious stuff. Madagascar looks like a battle beast. Spain looks like a bull with a big ruby where they stick their sword to kill him. Costa Rica looks like Blanca.
Okay.
Look at that. Right?
Yeah.
North Korea. I don't know what that is. It looks like kind of like, I don't know. Finland looks scary as hell. Finland looks like Donnie Darko type shit. Argentina looks really creepy. It looks like papal villains, you know, like the Pope and shit.
Finland could be definitely a death metal cover.
Yeah, I think Finland could be death metal, so pretty cool. AI stuff is cool. Look at this glass art, you guys. This is like next level glass art right here. This guy's amazing. I showed this guy on the Bogcast. Unparalleled glass. The flower bowl on a fully bloomed cactus. It's a bong. It's a smoking utility. I would be too afraid to smoke out of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when there's like certain pieces that like look way too expensive to like just be like a daily smoker or whatever, then it's just like it becomes like more art than an actual usage, right?
Yeah. All right. I showed this guy on the podcast. This is the type of shit that I love. So this guy, Gold Dust Farms, he calls it cannabis bonsai art. And he does all this. He takes cannabis plants, auto-flowering cannabis plants, so they all bud, and he harvests them all. And he manipulates them to either like do cool stuff with the roots, or with this one, he's making the plant follow a face pattern. And when it's done growing, he'll take that little thing away, and it'll look like the face. I mean, this guy is just like next level bonsai art. I mean, look at this stuff. You guys are gonna trip when you see this. Check this out, dude. Look at that. It takes time for it to happen like this. Like he puts Bruce Lee in the thing, puts the seed where he thinks the seed should grow, lets the roots grow around him, and then films him as he slowly takes away the dirt. And it flowers, it auto flowers, and then he smokes it and starts a new one.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he did a Banksy one. Check out this Banksy one. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. So, like, just creative. Look at this one. This one's funny. Just one little bud. Time to harvest. That is awesome, dude. Ever changing. So as you guys can see, he does a lot of cool stuff. Make sure you guys go follow him. Gold Dust Farms. All right. A couple more we've got here, you guys. Tattoo art. Look at this, James. This is beautiful. Turtles tattoo art. This is video game tats. The artist is Dirk Turcut. You ever heard of this guy right here, James?
No.
Dr. K Turcut.
Uh-uh.
Anyways, that is some amazing tattoo art right there.
Full leg sleeve.
Yeah. Look how beautiful the colors are.
Yeah.
Turtle stuff. That looks beautiful. Gorgeous.
Ooh,
Love that.
just thinking about the knee, around the knee.
How about this one, you guys? Shout out to Mr. Longshort. I love when he puts amazing art by good artists up, and this is Mercado art. What a great Stylock piece. Holy cow. Shout out to Mr. Longshort. Some psychedelic art. I don't even know what this is, but I think it's AI art. It's badass. This is really cool animation art. I love just watching this guy draw is like, it's very comforting and relaxing. And I don't know what it is, but that type of pen that he uses to draw with, just for some reason, it feels very relaxing, and the lines are so good, and the end artwork is just really, really cool. So this is Flight of the Ibis on IG. This got 5 million hits. How freaking cool is that? This is the next level type of art that I would love to see show up in comic book arts. This is the type of stuff that we saw in like Green Lantern Will World. Like that was one of the best Green Lantern series or storylines of all time. And it's like Jeff Darrow type art to me. Just
I have a tattoo artist that tattoos. That's how she designs and tattoos. It's super neo abstract stuff. It's crazy.
It's so good, bro. So good. All right. A lot of people have been seeing this. Shout out to Andy Duso Comic Art. Look at this. I love this. It's sold in 10 seconds.
Wow.
Miles Morales sketch cover. Look at some of the other art that he's doing with it. He's doing prints. I love it. He did color. $85. Pretty good art for what he charges. You know, that's pretty damn good right there. It would never fly for a real exclusive, but some of his other stuff.
You don't think Marvel would approve that?
I wish they would, but I don't think it's going to happen. But that is pretty damn awesome, dude. So,
when they can't afford Scotty Young anymore.
No, yeah. I definitely don't think it's going to happen. All right. This is Stepan Sejic, and this is him playing around with 3D rendering. Shout out to Trillavision and Little Bitcoin. Got going down this rabbit hole, but Sejic is a great artist, comic artist. But look how good this 3D art is that he's creating. Just beautiful stuff, man. It's amazing how good this turns out. So much better than AI art. All right, Souza Micah is probably gonna win cover of the year again. She's that damn good. Look at this piece of art, this Vampirella pinup that she put out.
Wow.
Holy shit, dude. This is just a sketch? Are you kidding me? One of the best, man. One of the best. Look at this tattoo right here. Holy cow. Scrooge McDuck. That is fucking badass. That is Galo Seth. Never heard of him, but badass. And a couple more. Finally, some animation art. Look at this shit. Between Mirrors. I've keyed in on Between Mirrors before, but this is badass. Love like the traditional tattoo stuff. Love the psychedelic craziness. Love the loop of it. It's so good. Look how good this art is, you guys. Animation, old school. What are they? Cuphead style art.
Yeah, I was thinking Cuphead as soon as I saw this.
I mean, look at this, dude. Next level animation. And this is the type of stuff that I'm going to key in on as much as possible. Great stuff. That is awesome. That's so cool. And then here's some more AI art, creations of the imagination. That's a beautiful piece of AI art. And I know it's AI art, but it is what it is. And then finally, Chris Stevens, illustrator. What a great sketch that is. That is fucking beautiful, man. So awesome right there. Very, very good stuff. Really, really cool. All right. Let me do this real quick. I want to thank some people. I want to thank House of Stein for the $4.99 super chat. That said, good info, fellas. Hit that thumbs up. Comics and Death Metal for subscribing. Thank you. Warlord for subscribing. Reef the Sea Forever for becoming a member, a 99-cent member. Thank you. Cosmic One for becoming a $5.99 a month member. Appreciate the hell out of that. Nimesh Patel, who donated $25. Awesome, Nimesh. You are such a great community member, man. Appreciate you on everything, everything that you do, all the live shows that you support. Keep doing it, man. We appreciate you. Mrs. Horsecock Express for the $1.99 super chat. Axe Fried Rice for subscribing. Jeremy Matthias for subscribing. Mrs. Horsecock for the other $1.99 super chat. Shout out to Trey, who donated 10 through Super Chat, and Awesome Sauce Radio donated $1.99 through Super Chat. I want to thank everybody. If you guys don't know, we do have new memberships up available. If you guys want to support the channel, the best way to support it is by subbing, but if you guys can do more, go check out the new memberships. All you have to do is click here. I have 3 memberships set up. I have, hold on here. Let's go to home. Where's the membership? Anyways, if you guys go, right here, join. I have for 99 cents, you are going to be able to watch all the live shows on the channel. The live shows are going to be going to members only. So right now we only have 2 live shows. Any live shows that we do in the future will be members only. But don't worry, for those of you guys that don't, want to do the 99 cents a month memberships only, the only thing that you won't be able to do is watch live. I will continue to clip the content. So good. So good. So good, dude. Shout out to Chad Cave for the we got to replay that, dude. We just got to replay that. Hold on. Let me do this. Let's go alert box. Boom, and let's move. Man, we're not playing. Oh well, it is what it is. Shout out to Chad Cave for that super chat. That was fucking awesome, dude. Oh, so good. All right, let me get out of this bullshit. All right, Chad Cave, you rule, bro. That was perfect timing. So for 99 cents, that's what that is. And then I have the $5.99 members level. As of right now, this is the perks you get are the live shows. And by the way, all members, I believe, no ads when you watch any of the shows. If you're members, no ads. So that's good too. $5.99 a month gets you everything that the live tier gets you. And we will start having hangouts after the show. Through Discord. So only member level members will be able to come hang out with us after the show and shoot the shit. Sometimes those hangout sessions last for 4 hours, and you can thank people like Easy E and James for that shit. And then the $24.99 a month OG level will that's just like a little thing I put up for all the people that have been rocking with me since day one that have the ability to pay for it. It will give you discounts on merchandise and any special projects I do in the future. And it will also get you a special Discord role to get legacy level perks. So, for instance, if you guys, if I do something special where it's like a print run of 50 and you want number 11 out of 50 every time, I'll try to get you 11 out of 50 every time. Or if I do it out of 100 and you want number 69, I'll try to get you number 69 every day. Shit like that. Cool shit like that. And we'll continue to rock that. So make sure you guys check those out. Those are available. And so, again, thank you to everybody that's hung out with us tonight. we're going to continue to get this thing rolling and get this thing rocking. 86 live till the end, and we got a lot of fun stuff planned. So appreciate you. Come hang out with us every Wednesday, every Saturday. More coming, more clips, more shows, more fun stuff. Download Discord app so you guys can call in. We're going to have call-in sections. That being said, we love you guys. Make sure to check out Hive Comics. Make sure to check out Wanted Comics. Make sure to check out Jesse James Comics. And make sure to check out Bird City Comics, the best in the game and the people that I respect the most. We'll see you next time. Adios.